We said it's 4G. Doesn't necessarily mean 4G is about connectivity, anyways. Doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has a lot of data to expend today. So if everyone has their videos on, of course, that would be humongous amount of data. So please keep your videos off, except you're requested to turn it on. So perhaps you're told to speak, and then we want to see your face, of course. So then you can be allowed to turn on your video. Nextly, keep the volume at safe level. I understand a lot of persons are using their phones, people are using their laptops, and they want to hear everything that's been said today. So you're probably using hands-free devices, right? You understand that these devices, as much as they're very effective, they have a tendency to, have long-term effects if they are used on very, very high volume. So please avoid listening at excessively high volumes when you're using your hands-free devices. And finally, do not watch while driving. If you're driving at the moment and you totally want to be part of the conference, that's fine, right? I will implore you to get your car parked somewhere in a comfortable space, or you could drive to a cafe, right? Sit down, take coffee, get confectionaries, and just while away time, while you enjoy the conference, while you get to learn all we have to dish out here today. And then in 2 hours, 30 minutes or thereabout, we'll be out of here. You can pick up your car again, continue driving, and be safe. So let's adhere to all these safety precautions. And I believe that everyone is going to be, better off at the end of the day, and we're going to have a smooth day. All right, so let's talk about the purpose of this conference. Why are we even here today, right? Of course, we said the conference is proudly brought to you by the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. Now, today's conference is centered around reinventing you. That is telling you to pivot with purpose. Now, today's session, we will explore the often uncomfortable but necessary process of personal and professional reinvention. Of course, from changing career paths, you probably want to change the career path. You're probably in the oil and gas, you want to move to tech or whatever, right? To academic pursuits, right? An academic pursuit, you want to change your academic pursuits. You probably studied engineering, now you want to move into management or what have you, right? So redefining identity and purpose. Now, we have a host of panelists who are going to be here today, and they're going to share real life stories, right? Real life stories of how they were able to transform, of how they employed or explored resilience, and how all of this gave them clarity in their journey. Now, the goal of the conference today would be to encourage every participant, every attendee, to embrace change with confidence, right? For you to identify how you can pivot and understand the roles of purpose in navigating life's transitions. Now, the panelists, the speakers that are going to be here today, have been invited to speak candidly about their own pivots. These are people that have experienced certain changes in their own lives. They've had to move from one space to the other. So they're going to tell us candidly how they were able to move, right? What prompted them to make these moves? And how they were able to manage uncertainty? Because making changes comes with a lot of uncertainty, right? And you want to be able to manage all of that. And they'll tell us what helped them to align their new path with their values and their long-term goals. Now, I believe that everyone that's going to attend this session today is going to leave feeling empowered to take the next bold step in their journey. Not out of fear, of course, not out of pressure, but with intention and purpose. And mind you, this is not to say that everyone was moved out of what they are onto at the moment. No. This is going to inspire those that, hey, they want to do a shape shift. They want to move from the space they are into another space. They're going to get all the encouragement they require here today to make that big leap. Anyways, like I said earlier, the conference is proudly brought to you by the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. For some of us who are on the conference now, we probably never heard about the Mr. B's Foundation. You probably saw it on your friend's status on WhatsApp, or you saw it on Instagram, or you saw it on LinkedIn, and then you click the link. It looked exciting. Great graphics. Let me see what this conference is about. Of course, like I said, the conference is brought to you by the Mr. B's Foundation, and then you have to, of course, understand what the foundation is about to be able to follow through. Now, I'm going to bring somebody up who has been part of the fabric of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. Someone who has been there since inception. She has followed through. So she's part of the fabric, like I said, of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. She's been there since inception in 2019 up until date. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome. I said welcome Zainab Yaya, the General Secretary of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation, as she walks us through the purpose, the goals of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation and where they have gone from inception up to date. Zainab, you have the floor. Please tell us what the Mr. B's Educational Foundation has been about and what it's about and what they tend to do going forward.
All right, thank you so much, Bob Manuel. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, and thank you for ending the session so well. Good day, everyone. My name is Zainab Yahya, and I'm the secretary to Mr. B's Educational Foundation. Would like to say thank you for joining in on the session, and we assure you that you are in the right place. And I'm also assuring you they're going to gain value for your time. Just sit back, have your writing materials. They're going to enjoy the session. So let's move on to why I'm here or what I'm here to talk about. Who are we? Just like you said, you've seen Mr. B's Educational Foundation, you saw the flyer, you saw what we intend to talk about, a mentorship conference, but you don't know who these people are, who are the organizers of this event. Mr. B's Educational Foundation is a registered non-governmental organization with Nigeria Corporate Affairs Commission, and it was established based on 3 out of the 17 United Sustainable Development Goals. Goal 1, which is no poverty. Goal 4, good and quality education. Goal 17, partnership to achieve the goals. And our vision at the foundation is empowering the next generation by propagating education, be it formal and informal. And our mission at the foundation is, or should I say her, 1, we have to award excellence to outstanding students and teachers in government-owned schools. We also have vocational skill trainings to members of the community, especially women and youth. We support towards career development through mentorship. So our story so far. In 2019, it was more of the year of academic excellence. In 2019, 1,000 students were empowered with vocational skills and positively impacted their education. That was our priority in 2019. Our priority was that we empowered 1,000 students with vocational skills and we positively impacted education, which is our priority. Three principals were sponsored to participate in an extensive training on school management, and the schools were inaugurated into our reward for academic scheme. 500 nose marks were given to students and teachers to aid learning during COVID-19. In 2021, which was a year of collaboration, we had the school book drive in one of the biggest slums in Lagos. We provided learning materials to over 40 students. We had International Girls Child in partnership with Ibile Youth Badagry Division. We also had the continuation of our reward for academic excellence. We also had over 20 individual sponsors who shared same goal and sought an equal chance for students irrespective of their background. In 2023, which was the year of great and fruitful impact, we had 78 students who have been rewarded for their academic excellence. They collaborated with SPE, that is the Society of Petroleum Engineering, UI, to encourage over 1,000 students on the importance of education and light up a child's education initiated. We also had over 6 months of hand-on training in fashion and catering partnership with experts like Barian Fashion. We also had the Selfless Service Foundation Partnership Award, which is also in the year 2023. Moving on to 2025, which is the year of mentorship and big vision. And I'm sure you can attest to it that we are growing gradually from 2019 to 2021, 2023, and 2025, and which brought about the name Year of Mentorship and Big Vision. We had 68 women who have been empowered with skills that act as a source of livelihood. We also collaborated with KOA Education and Ruraola Foundation to extensively get students ready for CBT exams. We also have over 3,000 students and young professionals who have benefited from our mentorship program and scholarship preparedness sessions. And this, I would say, is part of our achievements at the foundation and more to come. And I would also like to implore to you all that it's not just here, it's not just this conference that I'm bringing on to. We have other events, but you can do well to check our social media page, be it on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and there are more goodies, more benefits from where this is coming from. I would like to hand over to coordinator, Mr. Bob Manuel. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Zainab. I had numbers and I was overwhelmed. I had 1,000 students. I had 3,000 students. So many students have been impacted in just a couple of years. In less than 6 years, from 2019 spanning up to 2025, we've talked about 1,000 students being prepared for CBT and what have you. Of course, the foundation has begun to make impact, and we want to continuously make impact. So yeah, definitely would also lead your support to continuously make impact. But we'll talk about that as we progress. Now, I implore everyone on this call to participate totally, right? We'll be looking at the comment section. We want to see people who participate, people who ask questions. There are a lot of gifts to give out today. So please don't be shy. Go into the comment section, say that thing that's on your mind, right? And then if we have to give you the mic at some point, we will do. But we want everyone to participate in the conference and entirely have a good time. Anyways, in the last couple of minutes, we heard from the General Secretary of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. But that's the General Secretary. How about we hear from the horse's mouth, right? So this place, the Mr. B's Educational Foundation, was brought by no other than Mistura Yusuf, right? Mistura Yusuf is the founder, the convener of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. I'm going to be talking about her for a bit before I bring her to the floor. So now Mistura Yusuf is the founder of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. Mistura is, she has a bachelor's degree in chemical and polymer engineering from the Lagos State University. Mistura has over 5 years experience within the engineering industry, which cuts across the fast-moving consumer goods, the chemical industry, and the oil and gas industries in companies like Unilever, companies like the Nigerian Gas Company, which is a subsidiary of the NNPC. Now, Mistura didn't stop there. She went on to work as a commissioning and process/production engineer in the utilities department of the largest single-train refinery in the world. Of course, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals. She played a pivotal role in the commissioning of the water treatment plant, the reverse osmosis demineralization plant, the cooling towers, the compressed air and nitrogen generation plants. And she inducted over 200 trainees and she also worked closely with contractors and with the management in enlightening visitors and investors about the refinery process. She didn't stop there. Mistura is an award-winning member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, SPE International, with a membership of over 12 years, where she has served as a board member, a project/programs manager, and a committee lead across Nigeria, Africa, and of course, internationally. She has managed thousands of young professionals within SPE Africa and is currently on the Young Professionals Board of SPE Germany and SPE International. She's a member of the Beyond the Border Committee, an initiative by YPs for YPs. YPs means Young Professionals. And she's currently an executive master's student of energy engineering and management at the Hector School of Engineering and Management, Germany. That's the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology and Business School. And recently, she earned a diploma in corporate entrepreneurship from ESADE Business School, Barcelona, Spain. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is time we should give the drum rolls for the woman of the moment, the lady herself, Mistura Yusuf. Mistura, the floor is yours. Tell us about the Mr. B's Educational Foundation and give us your founder's note.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please confirm you can hear me, Bob.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, so thank you very much for the warm welcome. And I'd like to say good evening to everybody, the keynote speaker, panelists, mentors on the call, the mentees, volunteers, and everybody joining from across the globe. This is to officially say welcome to the very first edition of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation Mentorship Conference. Just as Zainab has said, this year is the year of mentorship and big vision. The mentorship program have actually started like a year ago, but we just decided how can we reach out to more people, get more speakers to talk to people, and this actually seemed like the perfect thing. It gives me immense joy to be here today and see this vision actually come alive. It's a vision rooted in one simple but powerful belief that mentorship has the power to transform lives, careers, and communities. And we have conceived this idea of this conference. When we did that, we wanted to actually create more than just another event. We wanted to build a network of guidance, growth, grit, and giving. Just as Bob has said, why 4G? But actually, those 4Gs actually encompass what you actually need to grow out there. And that's why we proudly call it the 4G network. So this year's theme, Threatening the Future Through Mentorship, couldn't be more timely. We live in a very fast-changing world where career paths are no longer linear. And the skills and roles we knew a very few years ago are actually evolving. And a lot of us have had to pivot. I'm actually in that phase right now, hoping to pivot from engineering to management, but doesn't mean I'm out of engineering completely. So, but how do you pivot and still stay true to your purpose? That's what today is about, reinventing you, pivot with purpose. Reinvention is not about abandoning who you are. It's just about discovering who you can become. It's about change, the courage to try, to fail, to learn, and to rise again with clarity and conviction. Our keynote speaker, Emmanuel, and our panel of brilliant minds, person of Kabir, Amin, Olufumilayo, and Bolaji, who are living examples of what reinvention looks like in action. Each of them has navigated career shifts, embraced mentorship, and have turned uncertainties into opportunity. As you listen to their stories today, I want you to remember this. Your journey is uniquely yours. Every detail, every challenge, and every breakthrough is changing the person you're meant to become. At Mr. B's Educational Foundation, our goal is actually simple: to equip young people with the guidance and community they need to grow. Because when one person grows, they light the way for others. So as we kick off day one of this mentorship conference, I encourage you to be present, engage, just as Bob has said. There are lots of gifts, ask questions, connect. Yes, it's a virtual conference, but this is an opportunity for you to connect. Drop your LinkedIn profiles in the chat box, connect with people, get to meet people, follow up right afterwards, learn, and most importantly, believe that you have what it takes to pivot with purpose. Thank you to all our partners, our speakers, our volunteers, and attendees. This actually might not be the right time to say thank you because the event has just started, but I think everyone deserves a thank you for making this dream a reality. The journey starts here, and together we are strengthening the future through mentorship. Thank you and welcome once again to Mentorship Conference 1.0, where journey inspires. Thank you, Bob.
Indeed, where journeys inspire. I want us to get inspired by the journeys of everyone that's going to speak here today. They have diverse journeys, and they're going to tell us how they've been able to navigate, how they've been able to pivot, how they've been able to reinvent themselves. And of course, we're going to take a cue from each and every one of them as we begin to navigate our own lives. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Mentorship Conference 1.0, where journeys inspire. And of course, I'm sure that everyone here is going to be inspired by one speaker or the other. Now we're going to move on really quickly to the keynote speech. And then we have someone who is very dogged in his own rights. Someone who is by the name Emmanuel Maku. I'm going to tell us a bit about Emmanuel Maku before I give the floor to him. Emmanuel Maku is a dynamic talent manager with a proven track record in designing and executing people strategies that drive growth, that drive engagement, and organizational capability. He has an extensive experience across the banking and agribusiness sectors. He has successfully led initiatives in talent acquisition, performance management, succession planning, and employee development across multi-country operations, including Nigeria, Ghana, and the Benin Republic. In his current role as a talent manager at TGI Agribusiness, Emmanuel leverages data-driven people analytics to strengthen recruitment, to strengthen learning and leadership pipelines. He's deeply passionate about helping individuals navigate career pivots, embrace reinvention, and unlock their full potential. He's a certified mentor. Emmanuel also volunteers with the Tony Elumelu Foundation, where he has guided young entrepreneurs across Africa in building sustainable, impactful businesses. His work reflects a steadfast commitment to empowering people to reinvent themselves with clarity, with confidence, and of course, with purpose. Emmanuel holds a bachelor's degree in chemical and polymer engineering from the Lagos State University. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no other than Emmanuel Imaku, who's going to tell us, who's going to give us that delve into reinventing ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome as I give the floor to Emmanuel Imaku.
Many thanks to you, Bob, Manuel. Good afternoon, all.
Thank you very much.
It's so good to be here. I mean, while you were reading out my profile, I was quite blown away and a bit surprised, to be.
Like, is this me?
Exactly.
I can understand.
All these things you're reading out actually for me, you're actually talking about me. But then it feels so good to be here. I mean, I listened to Zainab give us a little bit of insights as to where Mr. B's educational foundation currently is, the journey so far. It was really beautiful listening to her. And part of what she said that really resonates with me is, the access to good and quality education, which is one of the things Mr. B's educational foundation stands for, as it aligns with, the SDGs. So I mean, I'm all in for, having access to good and quality education. I'm one of those who believe that no nation can rise above the quality of its education. That probably is one of the reasons why Nigeria is in the current state it is. But however, from Ms. Tura's remarks, it was almost as though she has done the job for me. So I'm just going to ride on, some of the things she said. She has actually made my job very, very easy here. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a minute, please.
Yeah, just take your time and do what you need to do, Emmanuel. Thank you.
Okay, please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, your screen is very visible, very clear. Please go ahead.
So before I start my presentation today, could we just do a little bit of exercise in the chat box? Please just tell me, what you do. I like to always engage with my audience so I can have a feel of what everyone does. For example, I could just do this and say, Emmanuel, HR professional. So we can all do that. I like to get, as many responses as possible.
All right, guys, let's engage. Let's get into the comment section and send those messages. Emmanuel is waiting for us, so let's just go ahead. So I'm gonna also lead by example by telling you what I do, also in the comment section. So Emmanuel, I got you full time.
Thank you so much. Okay. I can see someone from Uniben. This is from Footmina. Okay, final year student, petroleum engineering. Okay. One more person. Okay. 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 Okay, great. So we have an engineer, a senior process engineer. Okay. All right. Okay, so it's safe to say that the composition of our audience is a good blend of students and professionals. Okay. All right. So I've been asked to talk about reinventing you, pivot with purpose. Reinventing you, pivot with purpose. And I'll just like us to begin with a few quotes here. But Manuel, please remind me again, how many minutes do I have? So I won't overtalk. Hello, Bob Manuel.
Sorry, I'll give you that in a few minutes. Just go on. I'll tell you. Just go on.
Great. All right. So I'll take the first quote here by George Bernard Shaw. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. The next one is by George Eliot. It's never too late to be who you might have been. Jim Rohn is saying that your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. How about Viktor Frankl? He says, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Okay, so these quotes are actually meant to set the tone for, my remarks this afternoon. So, but why then should you listen to me? Apart from, what Bob Manuel read about me, I'd like to let you know that a perfect example of somebody who has actually pivoted. I've been able to move away from what I used to do or what I'm supposed to be doing to what I'm currently doing. I actually have empirical facts, that points towards, self-discovery, reinvention, and, pivoting in general. So what is reinvention, basically? When you hear the word reinvention, what comes to mind? In my opinion, I think reinvention is an intentional transformation. It's a decision you have to make for yourself. You tell yourself that, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, or I'm currently doing this, but I'd like to do it better. You make that intentional decision, to change. But then again, it does not necessarily mean starting over. Okay? It could also mean evolving, right? Doing whatever it is you're currently doing, but doing it better. Exploring new ways to, improve your skill sets, improve your technical competencies, and improving your all-round value, and if possible, your market value. What are the key elements when you talk about reinvention? First, self-awareness. Okay? Knowing who you are today, your strengths, values, and motivations. You are the only person who can actually tell yourself who you are. No other person can define you. No other person can tell you what your value is. No other person can actually motivate you the way you want to be motivated. Okay? So, but when it comes to reinvention, what actually motivates you? What keeps you awake at night? Right? What spurs you to want to do more? Okay? So, that's what self-awareness is about. Okay? It's about knowing who you are, knowing your strengths, knowing your values, and your motivations. The next key element is adaptability. Being open to change, being open to learning, being open to new directions. Are you the type who's completely stuck in its ways? Are you the type who's very dynamic and susceptible and available to, embrace new ideas, operate in new environments? Okay? For somebody who would want to reinvent himself, this is, some of the things, or these are some of the things rather you may begin to start considering. Okay? How about purpose? It has to do with ensuring that your transformation aligns with meaning, not just chasing trends, but doing what fulfills you. When the technological advancement age, everyone is going into AI. The world is going global or globally digital, as it were. And because you've had tech bros or tech sisters, is it tech sisters you call them? Women in tech are making so much money from tech. You just dashing because of the money. If that's your reason, it's okay. That could be a source of motivation. But then you need to also ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? Does it align with what I hope to be doing with myself at this particular time and in the future? You have to be sure that you're not deceiving yourself. You have to be sure that you're not just doing what I call the bandwagon effect. Okay? Be sure that you're not just rushing into a profession or into an area of expertise, because lots of people are rushing into it. People are going there with a purpose. What is yours? So, I have a question for everyone listening. Who can tell me who this man is? If you know it, please drop your answers in the chat box. So if you want to unmute your mic and speak, that's also okay. But who knows who this man is?
Yeah, guys, let's hit up the comment section. Go ahead and tell us who the man is if you do know.
If you are shy to drop your comment in the chat box, you can, as well unmute your mic and, just respond.
I think we already have a comment from Regina
Somebody
Sampson.
said Pastor Nell. Pastor Nell is not correct. I have a gift for anyone who gets it correctly. If you get the answer correctly, don't use is it Google Image they call that thing? Someone said he or she knows this pastor. Dr. Nick, Savior Faith Samuel has the answer. Bob Manuel, please help me take note of Savior Faith Angel. I think Savior Faith.
I think great Ojenike was the first person to say Dr. Nick, though. What do you think?
So but Savior Faith is more correct.
Okay, so you want the full name?
More correctly.
Okay,
Dr. Nick,
we don't have
great Ojenike, wasn't wrong. You know how we used to write jam those days? They'll say from the options letters A to E, choose the most correct answer. So Savior Faith Angel.
So Savior gets it right. Okay, we're gonna give it to Savior then.
Exactly. Savior, congratulations to you. I have a gift for you. So, Mr. Nick Vujicic, right? An American pastor born without arms and legs. I met this man for the very first time, virtually though, in 2009. And meeting him and hearing him speak actually changed, some things about me. I began to see the world differently. But in all of his quotes and speeches, one of his very, very famous quote that resonates with me even till this day was when he, said that, yes, he knows he doesn't have arms and legs, and people sort of pity him because he doesn't have arms and legs. But he said something that I'm just going to quote real quick. He said, and I quote, "You may have arms and legs, but unless you know three things. Number one, who are you and what your value is? Number two, what's your purpose here in life? And number three, what's your destiny when you're done here?" He said, if you have no answer to any of these three questions, you are more disabled than I. So you begin to ask yourself, what could be more disabled than a man without arms and legs? For proper context, if you are under the sound of my voice today, and you can hear me clearly, you are more disabled than a man without arms and legs. If you don't know who you are and what your value is, if you don't know what your purpose here in life is, and if you don't know what your destiny is when you're done here. Very, 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 powerful points to, really sum up and wrap up the existential nature, of man. Pastor Nick Vujicic, a man I respect, so much. I recommend him anytime, any day. You can go to YouTube, and check out for his videos. He has very, very exciting and educative, content out there that would really help you, shape the way you view yourself, and the world in general. So, away from Pastor Nick Vujicic, why exactly do you pivot? Okay, why is pivoting important? What's the essence of pivoting? Number one of the reasons why people pivot is due to career stagnation or plateau. Okay, when you feel you are currently stuck in what you're doing, or you feel you have reached the climax of your career, and you feel you have so much fire and energy in you to do something else, you tend to, pivot. How about industry disruption? I mentioned earlier that we are currently in the technological advancement age. There's been a global shift from the traditional ways of operations to, smarter ways of doing things, through AI, through, lots of, digital assistants. So if you are not in tune with this, you feel completely cut off. So pivoting also means, improving on your skill set. I actually highlighted this earlier. So another reason why people pivot is for personal growth and new passions. You may have lost the fire or spark in whatever it is you're currently doing and have now discovered a new passion. Then it will now be time for you to pivot. Again, finally, one of the reasons why people pivot is a realignment with values and purpose. There are times you just do a self-reflection and self-evaluation and you ask yourself, am I really fulfilling purpose with this thing I'm doing? Or I'm just deceiving myself. Okay? When you finally come to the realization or the response to that question, it then hits you to know that, hey, I need to do something else. I need to improve, on whatever it is I'm currently doing. So in essence, what am I trying to say? People pivot not because they have failed. Okay, let's get that. But because they have evolved. So a pivot is a response to growth, change, and the pursuit of alignment between what you do and what you are becoming. So what are the framework of reinvention? Number one, reflect. Reflect. Ask yourself that question: who am I today? What are my strengths and values? A very good way to answer this question is to ask yourself, because ideally, you are the only one who can actually tell yourself who you are. I mean, I'm just meeting Bob Manuel for the very first time, but even if I've been with him for years, I can't say that I know him much more than he knows himself. So it begins with you, self-reflection. The next thing is reskilling, gaining relevant skills for the new path. So I'm a firm believer of carefully highlighting what it takes to get to where you want to be. Whatever you are today, be you a student, be you a senior process engineer, be you, a moderator, as I've known, Bob Manuel to be over the past few minutes. Who says you can't be an engineer tomorrow? Who says you can't be a medical doctor tomorrow? Who says you can't even be a senior software developer tomorrow? So whatever it is you choose to do with yourself, whatever it is your passion lie, the very first thing to do after, self-reflection is to reskill, highlight the skill sets and competencies required to get to where you want to be, and start looking how to close in on them. Start learning. Start looking for, ways and sources to close those skills gaps that you have. Okay? The next step is to rebrand. Communicating your pivots on your CV and your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile should tell a story of where you have been, where you are, and where you hope to be. Okay? As a recruiter, recruiting on LinkedIn, I can tell if somebody would be a good hire or not, merely by looking at the person's profile. I look at your bio, I looked at your work history, okay? And it just tells me something about you, and I can just tell by just, doing a face evaluation to see if this person will be a good hire or not. How about networking? How big are you on networking? How important do you think networking is to you? Are you still introverted in your ways? Or are you part of those who are usually very, very shy to mingle? If you are that kind of person, I put it to you that you're not doing proper networking. You are not selling yourself enough. And if you don't sell yourself, how can people patronize you? How can people pay for your services? Okay? So conferences such as this, avenues such as this is a very, very good, platform opportunity to network. Okay? The next step is to relaunch. After you may have done a self-reflection, after you may have reskilled, after you may have rebranded, is to relaunch. Take action. Put yourself out there. Okay? Upgrade or optimize your LinkedIn profile. Let it reflect where you currently are. Let it also reflect your achievement. Let it also reflect the values you can offer. Okay? Then after that, you can start seizing opportunities, because opportunities will come. When I hear people say today that there are no jobs, I seem to differ in that line of thoughts. Okay? I'm not saying there are people that are not out of jobs. There are actually people that are out of jobs. But then I also feel that there are jobs. The question is, can you do them? Can you do those jobs? If you think I'm joking, after this session, go on LinkedIn. Just type or do a quick search of, whatever job role you're looking for. You will see them in their hundreds. Okay? But when you see the job requirements, the years of experience, the technical competencies required to back those jobs, you begin to ask yourself, do I have these skill sets? If no is your answer, what does that tell you? There's a deficit, there's a gap. It is now up to you to start closing those gaps. Okay? So, as an HR professional, what exactly is our perspective on career pivots? What do we look out for when we see people that have apologies, please. I need to take this call. I'm really sorry.
Okay, while he's on that, we'll just keep on doing a few things. So he has said a lot of things thus far. He's talked about being self-aware. He's talked about being adaptable. He's talked about pivoting with purpose. And then he just said a few things which are very resounding. He said we should reflect when you want to pivot, right? He also said we should reskill. Because you're going into a new space, you have to change, you have to get new skill sets. So he said we should reskill. He's also said we should rebrand, right? You have to brand, and of course, you have to relaunch. You're going into new territories. You have to get new skill sets. You have to put yourself out there again. Say that, okay, I was an engineer before, but right now I'm into tech. That should reflect on your profile, isn't it? That should tell the next person that's looking at a profile that, hey, I was in engineering before, but right now I'm into tech. And of course, people should be able to see this. That has to do with what rebranding. So he said a whole lot of all this, and this makes a lot of sense. So I think it's going to come up shortly again, and then I'll give him the floor to continue this impactful session that he has been giving us. Emmanuel, if you're ready, we are ready for you. You're mute just in case you do not know.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. So apologies, guys. I had to, attend to that call. It was pretty important and urgent. So yes, as HR professionals, what exactly do we look out for when we see candidates that have sort of pivoted? Okay. First off, we look for transferable skills. When I talk about transferable skills, I'm talking about abilities that can be used in different jobs opportunities, right? Abilities like communication, leadership traits, interpersonal relationship. These are skill sets that are actually transferable. We'll check to see if the candidates actually possess those skill sets. Okay. How about adaptability and learning agility? We'll also check if this person is flexible. How effective will this person operate in a different work environment? Is this person open to, a new style of work, a new, work culture and all of that? There also has to be evidence of reskilling/upskilling. You cannot just tell me that you have transitioned from, let's say, engineering, for example, to HR, or let's say accounting to, whatever, without, the necessary certifications to back it up. There has to be evidence of reskilling. You can't just tell me you have, dived or dabbled into it because of passion alone. Passion is good. Certification makes it even better. You also need to have a strong personal brand. Your CV needs to tell a good story of how you have started, the point at which you pivoted. Your CV should also clearly show your achievements, your responsibilities, while before you pivoted and after you may have pivoted. We'll also check out for internal pivots. Were there changes within the organizations you may have worked in, and how many organizations have you been able to work in after you had done a complete pivot. So these are some of the things we really look out for, amongst other things. So in essence, what I'm trying to say on this particular slide is that successful career pivots are about demonstrated potential and intentional preparation, not just desire. Okay, so technically we look out for people who connect their past experience with their future direction clearly, and credibly. For instance, whenever I interview people that have pivoted, what I usually tell them as a secret hack to acing their interview overall, or answering their interview questions, is to always state how they may have done a particular thing in their former life, how they are currently doing it, and how they will do it if they get successful in the recruitment process. So these are just some of the things we actually look out for. So case studies now, right? These are actually true life stories of people I had interacted with that had pivoted at some point in their career. There was a banker person I know. For sake of data privacy, I didn't actually put these people's names up here, but these are very, very relatable stories, and they are stories I've actually been a part of. So yeah, there's a banker I know who later became a data analyst. He had worked 7 years in a commercial bank handling customer transactions and financial reports. What triggered his pivots? He felt stagnant, okay, and wanted a more analytical, future-oriented role. But what did he do? He started by taking data analytics courses on Coursera, okay? He went further by practicing using Excel and Power BI on real banking data and built a small portfolio, for himself that, attracted, companies to him. So what was the outcome? He transitioned successfully internally, within the bank to the data analytics unit, and later became a business, intelligence analyst. Okay, so what are the lessons here? Reinvention starts with upskilling and showing transferable value, not abandoning your foundation. Okay, so what was his foundation? He was in banking, right? He was there. He didn't leave banking completely, but the skill sets and experience he may have gained as a data analyst while in the bank can be transferable elsewhere, when he chooses to change sector completely. Okay, so how about the engineer who became an HR professional? Now, this is my story. Okay, while Bob was reading out my profile, you could tell that I'm actually a graduate of chemical and polymer engineering. Yeah, that's my field. Until tomorrow, I know my engineering, but am I doing engineering today? Absolutely not. Okay, so I have a background in chemical and polymer engineering, right? And I used to, and I still do love engineering process operations and optimization. What triggered the switch? I realized at some point in my life that the inherent skill sets that I have can be applicable towards, optimizing people systems. So this is just a very modest way to actually describe what triggered me. Okay. So, but for lack of time, I will just leave the pivot trigger to this. Okay. So what action did I take? I started looking at certification. All right. So I got my first certification in HR. I got another one. I got another one. I started looking for volunteering opportunities, which I got. I started volunteering free of charge. Okay. After years of volunteering, I finally got a breakthrough, when I joined one of the leading commercial banks in Nigeria as an HR business partner. I left there to another bank. I left there to where I am currently. So at the moment, I'm an established HR professional, a licensed HR professional, and I work as a talent manager. So what are the lessons from my very short story? Career pivots often blend inherent skills with new purpose. Okay, not an entirely new beginning. So at the moment, when I interact with engineers, okay, I speak as somebody who has substance. I also speak as somebody who had, had one or two, touches with engineering. So it adds, a depth of flavor and technical competence to my conversation. Whenever I interview engineers today, you have to be really solid to come to me as an engineer who's seeking for a job. If you sit with me in an interview panel, you can't just come and bamboozle me because I know my engineering and I know it so well. But that's by the way. How about the graduate who reinvented early? This is also another very, very practical story of a young lady who studied accounting, but realized she didn't want to stay in finance. Okay, so what triggered her? She discovered the love for digital storytelling and brand communication. So what did she do? She started building skills in Canva. Okay, she started shooting content on social media and also doing marketing analytics content as well. She also started freelancing just to gain experience. What was the outcome? She has now secured the communications associate role in an FMCG company. What are the lessons here? Reinvention isn't tied to age or tenure. No matter how young or how old you are, you can reinvent yourself, you can pivot as long as you have done a proper self-evaluation and you're sure of what it is you want to do. Okay, my last example. The factory supervisor who became the learning and development officer. What's the background of this story? He has spent years in production. He has spent years mentoring new operators and improving processes. What triggered him? He found fulfillment in training others rather than machinery operations. There's a way you do something over the years and you'll be like, hey, I'm tired of doing this thing. I want to do something else. It's a free world. Okay? When you start feeling that way, it's important that you start paying attention to that feeling, because you don't want to be somebody who just shows up in the office and you are just existing. You are just ticking the box. You are not adding value to the company and you're not adding value to yourself. So whenever you start having that feeling, that's your body. That's a sign that your body is beginning to speak to you to act. In this particular instance, how did this man act? He completed a train-the-trainer course, okay? He shadowed the HR capability team and, documented training outcomes. Today, what has been this man's story? He's been promoted into the learning and development team. So what are the lessons here? Sometimes your passion reveals your pivot, okay? Follow the work that energizes you. Follow the work that energizes you. That place your passion and interest lies is where you should go to. I understand that there are a couple of young people on the call, especially those of us who are still in school. So it's important that you really, listen and, take some of the points I'm trying to communicate here today. Okay. So what are the practical tips? You have to network intentionally. You have to be intentional about networking. Very, very intentional. Quit shyness. Nobody would offer you anything if you're shy, except if you want to walk in your room and bedroom alone, then it's okay to be shy. Quit laziness as well. If you want to move from where you are to where you want to be, it takes a deliberate effort of hard work. Okay? You must invest in continuous learning. Reduce the endless scrolling on Instagram and Twitter. Those things are good, but when they are abused without control, you lose purpose, you lose yourself in the process. Rather, invest in continuous learning. Read anything. I tell people I'm an omnivorous reader. I read practically anything that comes my way. Okay? For context, let me show you, right? My name is Emmanuel, right? And I'm a Christian, but this is a copy of the Holy Quran. Okay? This is what's that grammar they put here? A transliteration version, that has the English version. So I read it as well, okay? That's, me trying to live up to my personality of reading practically anything, okay? Good or bad, it doesn't matter. I read anything. Knowledge is knowledge. I just grab it, okay? So if you must move from where you are to where you want to be, you must invest in continuously. Learn about that field. Seek mentors and coaches, okay? There are people who are already experts in the field you want to go into. Look out for them. Go and do exactly what they are currently doing. Go and do exactly what they did to get to where they are, and you also get there. It's as simple as that. Just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. What you should not also copy, paste are the mistakes they made, okay? Or the places they have fallen. And that's why it's important to get yourself a mentor, because a mentor will guide you. He will tell you, hey, don't do this. So when I did this, then look at what happened. I failed here, so don't do it. So it makes the journey shorter for you that way. You get your destination quicker. You must be willing to volunteer to take stretch roles. You must be willing to work for free. There are times when I worked for free. I still work for free till today. Talking about working for free, I'm currently working for free for Mr. B's Educational Foundation. Okay, so these are the things, but I do it with joy. Okay, I take pride in doing things like this because it's also helping me fulfill purpose. It's also helping me achieve my goals. So you must be willing to take stretch roles. Don't be comfortable with what you're doing. Okay, I saw I saw a senior, I can't remember, a senior process engineer. As a senior process engineer, I'm happy to tell you that it's not okay to just sit within the confinements of what you do as a process engineer. You work in a corporate environment. There are different departments. Go and see what's happening in finance. Go and see what's happening in procurement. Go and see how other departments' inputs affect what you do. Who says you can't pick up an interest in finance tomorrow? Who says you can't pick up an interest in procurement tomorrow? So these are the things. And then tell your story with confidence, just as I'm telling you mine. Okay, though my story was quite brief, but I've been able to tell you how I transitioned from studying engineering to being an HR professional. And I'm confident about it. I can tell the story anytime, any day. Here's my call to action for you. Don't wait for the perfect time to reinvent yourself. Start with what you have today. A lot of us, are not comfortable with our current situation. But knowing that you are not comfortable is not enough. What you do after knowing is more important than you knowing. Okay? So there's no perfect time. Start today. There are different materials online that can help you grow into what you want to be. There's even ChatGPT. I don't care who you are or what you currently do. If you're a student studying food and nutrition, who says you can't do banking? If you are the one who's studying accounting, who says you can't develop yourself to become a software engineer? Simple, just do a simple ChatGPT prompt. I'm currently so and so. I'm currently a 500 or 400 level student. I'm currently an accountant. How do I become this? Give me the steps. ChatGPT is that generous. It will give it to you. If you wanted to also break it down into actionable plans, it will also do that for you. So what am I saying to you today? If you fail in life, then it is your fault. It is okay to say that you don't have the resources to push you to where you want to be, but it is not okay as somebody who's smart to say you don't know how to get to where you want to be. It means you have not researched. That's what it means. It means you have not paid attention to studying. I'd like to thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. That was very, very insightful. In fact, at some point, I felt like I want to start to take a pivot. Anyways, I have to definitely go through all of that. I have to do self-awareness, check purpose, be adaptable, and all of that stuff. And of course, I have to reflect, like you said. I have to reskill if I want to pivot. I'll have to rebrand. I have to tell people that this is my new skill set that I've developed and I have to sell it out there. And then, of course, I have to relaunch into the new career path. Impactful stuff. And thank you very much for all of that. We have questions from a few questions in the chat box, which I'm going to read to you, which you're going to answer as quick as possible so that we can move on as fast as we can. But I'll just take it quickly. Someone is saying, please, I would like you to emphasize on how you grow your confidence in the new field after pivot. So I'm going to take that quickly. So can you just take that quickly in 1 minute? How can you grow your confidence in this new field after a pivot? This question is from Muazzam Munir. So we just give you 1 minute to take that as quick as possible.
Okay, Muazzam, thank you for that very beautiful question. So there are actually different reasons why people lack confidence, and I'll just dwell on one of them. One of them is not having content or depth. Okay, and what if you don't have content or depth? What would you say? What would you actually speak? What will people hear from you? What value can you possibly contribute if you can't, sell yourself with the content or depth that you have? And why don't you have content or depth? You've not studied. You have not researched. Okay. Apologies to the non-Christian folks on the call. There's actually a particular portion of the Bible, I think Philippians or so, where the Bible actually asks us to study to show ourselves approved. So you can't be confident if you have not studied. You can't be confident if you don't have content. So a quick tip for you is to pay attention to studying. Study, invest heavily in studying. So that's
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. When you study, you get a certain level of confidence. If you do not study, you cannot be confident. And it begins to bring a lot of fidgeting and what have you. I'm going to take one more question. There are a lot of other questions, but we'll take them as the session progresses. But I'll take just one more. Someone has a genuine concern here. He says, what advice can you give to someone who is a chemical engineering undergraduate that is at a Y junction to really know which career path is best for him? Say this is two-factor authentication. I don't know what that means. He said between a career in oil and gas, that's process engineering, and a career in the health sector, biochemical engineering. Did you get that, or should I read it again?
No, I got it. The person is currently a chemical engineering student or graduate.
Student, I think. He's at a Y junction, according to him, and he's thinking about going to process engineering or biochemical engineering.
Okay, so first off, it depends on where your passion and interest lies. So again, your passion and interest is not enough. There also has to be the opportunity to practice. Okay, your passion may be as saturated as whatever. If there are no opportunities, there's absolutely nothing you can do. You can't, especially if your interest lies, in working in the corporate space, oil and gas, for example. If there are no oil and gas establishments for you to practice, the next thing to do is to go into self-establishment, establish your own thing and start practicing whatever it is you want to practice. But then outside, these two options, I think I actually captured it in my third or fourth slide, which is to start doing a self-evaluation of the inherent skills you have that are marketable. Okay. In school, I saw that I had, a very good command of communication. I could talk from now till next year. I like to engage in valuable communication, valuable conversation. Okay, so that was an inherent skill that I had that really helped me. I also had an enthusiastic flair for project work. I like to see things start from start to finish. Okay, that was another thing that helped me. So these two skills are actually transferable skills that could have, made me excel practicing engineering. Okay, but now I'm using them elsewhere. So I was able to use them, or I'm being able to use them because I did a self-audit and I checked deeply and looked deeply at the inherent skill sets that I have that could be useful elsewhere. So you are not completely empty, you're not completely useless. You may not be as fluent as I am. You may have other skill sets. Yours may be analytical. Okay, it could be anything. All right. So one tip I can give to you is for you to do an extensive research about these two fields you hope to go into and start checking or looking out for the transferable skills and match them with the ones you possess. So that's
Thank
it.
you very much. Thank you. That's very clear. I'll use myself as an example as well. I am a process engineer, just so you know, but I have inherent skills of hosting events and doing some other stuff. I'm not limiting myself into process engineering. I currently work as a process engineer, but I don't stop there. I'm using my inherent skills to do other things. So, guys, this should be a
Absolutely.
motivation for you. Do what you need to do, right? And eventually become great. So if you need to pivot, please go ahead and pivot. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that session. That was very, very impactful. Of course, there'll be questions for you later on in the conversation and all that. When there are questions, we'll let you know, and then you can come up to answer them as the conference goes on. We have to move quickly so that we do not take so much of our time, and then we'll keep the time of the stipulated time for the conference. We're moving on quickly, and like I said earlier, please engage in the comment section. We are watching you guys. There are a lot of gifts to be won. A lot of gifts to be won, and of course, you want to be one person that lives with a gift here today. So please engage. We are looking at people that are making comments, people that are contributing to the session. They will be rewarded as time goes on. I'll tell you how that is going to pan out. But before then, I'm going to invite someone who we've had here today, just a while ago, the General Secretary of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. And she's going to come up to tell us some of the upcoming events and the initiatives by the foundation and how you and I on this call today can partner with the foundation to help develop education and help to impact into the life of someone out there. And ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome once again Zainab Yaya, the General Secretary of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation. Zainab, you have the floor.
Good day, everyone. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Bob Manuel. And I'll make this very fast. So at Mr. B's Educational Foundation, just like I said earlier, we have different segments or different how would I put it? Different plans, different outreaches that we do. And this is one of our upcoming events, which we would like you to be a part of, or would like you to please communicate to somebody, tell somebody who you think would be willing to sponsor this event for us or want to be a part of this project, like in way of sponsoring. So this is it. So this is one of our upcoming events, which is called Lights Up a Child Education 2.0. And I would like to leave you with this quote, which says, when you sponsor a student, you don't just pay for books or tuition. You help rewrite the future for an individual, a family, and ultimately a community. Let's write futures together. So our objective of this Lights Up a Child Education is to at least sponsor at least 30 students from 5 government-owned secondary schools in Ibadan. Will be rewarded for their academic performance with writing materials, school supplies like bags, socks, mathematical sets, calculator, and solar lamp. Would also be rewarding outstanding teachers who will be appreciated for their efforts with cash gifts and supported with teaching aids, lesson notes, and others. Then you'll be wondering, why do I want to be a part of this initiative? We would want you to be a part of this initiative because you would provide reliable, sustainable solar lighting to students in low-income communities, empowering them to study after dark, improve their academic performance, and pursue their dreams without the limitations of inadequate or dangerous lighting options like kerosene lamps. I'm sure you can attest to it that when there is no power supply, you are not encouraged to read, which is why you brought about Light Up a Child Education and all of that. So this is where you come in. What your sponsorship provides per school, because we have like schools. So what your sponsorship would be if you're providing for a school? You'll be providing for 6 outstanding students as academic award recipients. And in the academic recipients, it's going to be a pack for each scholar. And for each scholar, they'll be getting 3 scientific calculators, one for the senior class, because we're going to be having the junior class segments and senior class segments. So it is for the Lights Up a Child Education 2.0. It's focused on secondary school students, the junior secondary school students and senior secondary school students. So for junior secondary school students, we'll be having 3 students who have stood out academically, who have stood out excellently. We'll also be having 3 students who have stood out academically excellently in senior class, which makes it a total of 6 outstanding students. And for the senior class, they'll be getting 3 scientific calculators, 1 each for senior students. And for the junior class, they'll be having 1 each mathematical sets. They would also be having 3 pairs of socks each for all the classes. They would also be having 12 notebooks each for all the students. Each student 12 notebooks, which cut across from the junior class to the secondary class. They would also be having a dictionary because you would attest to read that we all need dictionary. We all need to check our dictions. We all need to check if we're speaking the right vocabulary. They would all be getting 6 pens and 6 pencils each. They would also be getting a solar lamp to study at night safely and effectively. So it's not going to be an excuse of, oh, there's no power supply. We want you to be able to study both during the day and at night. Then for the school and teachers package, would be awarding 4 teachers who have done their job diligently. It's an award of excellence to 4 teachers. They'll be getting 40 notebooks. They'll be getting 40 notebooks as lesson notes for subject class teachers, a pack of red and blue pens for grading and lesson planning. They would also be getting 6 durable educational charts to enhance classroom teaching and engagement. And all of it all cuts across 422,000, 120,000. This is to say that with 422,000, 120 naira, you'll be able to sponsor a school, 6 students and 4 teachers who have stood out excellently well. And this is also to say that it does not limit it to just you contributing the whole total. You can contribute, be it 1,000 naira or something, or smaller denomination. Then we also have the one for per students, which totals to 89,520 naira. This is to tell you that with 100,000, you will be encouraging a child to focus on their education, because the core purpose of this is to reward academic excellence. We are encouraging the students to perform well in the academics, take the academics seriously, because I have this quote which says, develop a passion for learning. If you do, you never cease to grow, by J.D. Angelo, which says that, which just revolves about you being educated. And we have our account details here where you can check our social media. Account details is here where you can contribute. So just to summarize all of this, so this is our upcoming events, which would like you to please be a part of, contribute financially, speak the good word, and tell someone who will be interested. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Emmanuel.
I would go into my mobile app and send some money. All right, let's join hands together and make sure that education it becomes the legacy, because if you train a child, you train a generation. All right, so guys, please partner with us. The account is on the screen. Partner with us, no matter how small it is. It could be 1,000, or it could be 500, whatever you can contribute. Just be part of someone's development. All right. Anyways, we'll move further. Like I said, guys, keep participating in the comment section. There are a lot of gifts. I'll be telling you some of these gifts as we proceed. But in order for us not to waste our time, I want us to move straight to the panel session, where we're going to have people who have taken that pivot tell us about their story, tell us about how they were able to pivot and how it has become beneficial to them. I'm going to introduce someone who's going to moderate the session in person of Temitope Obadofi. Now, Temitope studied agricultural and bioresources engineering at the Federal University of Technology, Minna, Niger State. Her passion for human and girls' rights shines through her involvement in various organizations. Currently, she holds the position of the coordinator for the Niger cell of the Girls Get Equal campaign, Plan Nigeria. She also contributes her time and skills as an on-air personality with the branding The Future. In addition, Temitope volunteers with the Center for Youth and Teen Development. In her free time, she indulges in graphics design and social media management. I like to call Temitope a jack of all trade, a master of many. She believes the world can be free from inequality through collaborative efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, let us collaborate with Temitope as she rides us through this panel session. Temitope, you have the floor. Please go ahead.
All right. Please, can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you very much. And the way you read my profile, I had to check again. Was it me you were referring to? Thank you very much.
No, right?
Thank you for the kind words. So I can see that our time is fast spent, and I will just dive right into it. Good evening to everyone here. My name is Temitope Amina Obadofi, and it is a very, very great privilege to be here with you today as we explore the thing, reinventing you, pivot with purpose. The world is constantly changing, and it is very, very important to shift directions with clarity, with courage and intention, not just based on impulse or because you... Is somebody talking? All right. So questions like, when is change necessary? How do you go about it? How do you overcome the fears that accompany change? I think someone asked the keynote speaker how you can build your confidence after making a pivot. So these are questions that are very, very important and very necessary. And today we are joined by four very incredible speakers who have walked unique paths, who have made switches, embraced uncertainty, and carved out very purposeful journeys that inspire us all. I'll be introducing them in no particular order. Firstly, we have Amin Abdurazak. Please apologize in case I mispronounce your name, just correct me. We have Amin Abdurazak, who is a UK-based senior cloud security engineer and managing partner at Top Team Technologies. He earned a BSc in geology from Ahmadu Bello University in 2015, then completed a master's degree in information security and digital forensics with distinction in June 2025 at the University of East London. During his national service in 2016, he transitioned into IT, progressing from end-user support analyst to network engineer, and later into cybersecurity, where he now specializes in cloud security. His expertise covers cloud posture management, identity and access governance, zero trust architecture, and automation of compliance and detection workflows. Amin holds multiple Azure and AWS certifications, along with CISSP, CCSP, and DevSecOps. Sorry, I'm not a tech girly. Professional credentials. He hosts To the Tech and Beyond podcast on YouTube with 80,000 plus views and mentors thousands, enabling secure and compliant cloud adoption across diverse sectors. Amin Abdurazak, are you here with us, please? Can you confirm that you are on the session with us?
Yep, I'm here with you. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction to me, Tope.
All right. I was wowed by it, and I'm sure I'll be wowed by the others too. Thank you for joining us. So next we have Bolaji Anifowoshe, a marketing leader whose journey from earning a degree in metallurgical and materials engineering at the University of Lagos to leading marketing across Africa, Europe, the US, and Canada is a testament to the power of reinvention. He's recognized as one of Technomi's top 25 African digital strategists in 2024. Bolaji has been featured and cited on leading industry platforms, including HubSpot, SaaS Alliance, Tech Cabal, Business Day, The Guardian, Treford, and many more. He has led growth, GTM, and marketing for high-impact companies such as Techno, Our Pass, EMA, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Distribird, Simple, and others, delivering successful product launches, demand generation campaigns, and market expansion strategies that produce significant results. Passionate about transformation and purpose-driven growth, Bolaji mentors emerging talents, sharing actionable strategies for navigating career pivots and thriving in dynamic industries. His story reflects a belief that embracing change with clarity and courage can unlock extraordinary opportunities. Wow. Bolaji, you call.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Then we have with a background in development, data journalism, research, and project management. She has worked on development projects and advocacy campaigns across Africa. She holds degrees in biochemistry, mass communication, and healthcare analytics. As a journalist, some of her works were recognized in 2020 as part of Pulitzer Africa's Data Journalism Alliance against COVID-19 project, which was listed among the 10 big data journalism projects of the year. She has also served as a fellow of the Maternal Figures Sojo Fellowship and the Africa Women Journalism Project Reporting Fellowship. Olufunmilayo is affiliated with the public service sector, and her passion lies in leveraging data to support decision-making, streamline processes, and improve experiences at both organizational and societal levels. Olufunmilayo, please, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. And lastly, but not the least, of course, we have Kabir Adedeji, a finance professional with over 8 years of experience spanning financial analysis, portfolio management, and business advisory across the banking, fintech, and credit union sectors. He has managed diverse credit and investment portfolios, supported credit and risk decisions, and delivered data-driven insights to guide strategic growth. He currently works as a financial associate in one of the biggest credit unions in North America. Kabir is a CFA Level 2 candidate and Microsoft Certified Data Analyst. He is dedicated to helping young professionals navigate career transitions and build the resilience needed to succeed in today's dynamic financial landscape. Kabir studied industrial chemistry and analytical chemistry in his first and second degree respectively, and started his career as a QA lab analyst with a petrochemical company before switching to finance. So these are our panelists. From their profiles, just reading their profiles, I'm already geared up and I want to dive into the session already. So without further ado, I'd like for us to go into the session properly. Now, my first question is for all the panelists. Anybody can answer this. Anybody can open the floor, but all the panelists have to answer this briefly, of course. So every purposeful pivot begins with a reason. There's always a why. There is no change without a reason. Could you share with us what your why was? And at what point in time did you know it was time for you to make that change, to make the pivot? Who would like to go first? Or should I just call someone randomly and the others will follow suit?
Yeah, I think you can. Well, it's fine. I'm happy to go first, and then you can always just pick at random if that's okay.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. First of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you to the organizers, especially to Mr. and the rest of the team. I think you guys have put up a really, really important initiative by doing this. I really appreciate the work you're doing, and like to say a very big thank you to all the presenters, especially Emmanuel, who made a very great presentation. And yeah, to answer your question, I I I would like to say something, something deep and something I had big passion I wanted to do, but to be honest with you, it is not for me. Like that wasn't what happened. I didn't have this wow moment where it was like deeply thought through and I've had everything figured out. No. So whilst you're reading my profile, you mentioned that I transitioned during my NYSC. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with the National Youth Service Program. So I don't need to explain that. I tend to explain that a lot for people here in the UK. So basically, what happened in my own case was I just thought it was cool. Like I thought tech was cool, and if I tell you this, you probably won't believe, but it was from when I watch movies and I see some guy sitting behind the big screen and it's just typing, on the black screen, loads of, those codes going. It just fascinated me, and that was really my own push. And again, like I said, you might be surprised, like it's not something so fancy, and it was just thinking, if this thing is so cool, can I do it as well? Like I would really love to do something nice like this. And initially I was in geology. I was enjoying my geology. I was so determined to get into the petroleum industry, oil and gas. And during the NYC, I even started serving in a company in a company in Abuja that was focused on geology. So we're doing hydrogeology back then. And then one of my brothers called me. It was like street brother, when we say Egmadubo in Yoruba, right? So it was like, Guy Alpha, what are you doing in Abuja? I'm like, yeah, I'm just here hoping one day we'll get to drill some boreholes in Abuja because that's what we did as hydrogeologists, right? So and he told me, do you like IT in any way? I'm like, sure, why not? I told you I enjoy watching these movies and I see people doing all this fancy stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Would you like to? We've got an opening in my company to for a copper. It's a tech company. Would you like to come in? I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm already serving somewhere, right? But because I knew, oh, I've always wanted to do this thing, I thought it was really cool. I had to like request for when you go meet your employer to tell them to let you go in NYC. I think I can't remember the name that is called, but I requested for that and then moved to the tech company, and that was it for me. So, like I said, I didn't have it all figured out or planned out and say, oh, I wanted tech. I didn't even know what I was going to do there. Like it was just, oh, it's a tech company. We get a free laptop. And it was when I got there that I started to reinvent myself. So, yeah, that was like I said, for me, there wasn't like a particular moment where there was this eureka. And like, oh yeah, I figured it out. So yeah, I'm happy to talk a lot more about details in the when you ask some of the other questions. But yeah, I'll let some of the other panelists share their experiences as well.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's a very beautiful story. So I'll say for me, let me know if you guys can hear me, by the way. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that mine happened while I was in uni, interestingly. So I've always been fascinated by, I got into uni around like 2013. I've always been fascinated by digital technology, the web, I mean, the concept of like of websites and all of that, even just the internet generally was something that really wowed me. I remember back then, before I even like got into uni, I went to learn Dreamweaver, because the year I was supposed to get into uni, there was like this ASU strike thing that lasted for like 6 months. This was when they were trying to change the name of Unilag to Maulag then. So that was like, I was one of the people that was affected then. So I got into uni back then. So one of the things I also did was, as something as a side, something that could keep me engaged, I started like a blog. So I was writing about things that were happening on the campus in like then. I was writing about other interests that I had. So, but I think what happened when I was in my 200 level, a friend of mine was in a bus. There was the college shuttle for people that attended like there was like this campus shuttle. So inside the bus, there was the marketing manager of like Techno. So if you guys know Techno, that's like the mobile phone, came to like like they were trying to like plan like these brand activations. So, and he was chatting like that, my friend. And he said, I know there's this my particular friend. He's really fascinated around stuff like this. And I feel like it could help you out. I don't know how it's going to help out, but I feel like it's definitely going to help you out. So it kind of like let me put it, he gave me like a true pass, to put it that way. So just what happened then was I got to like have like a conversation with him. So that was why I landed like an internship at Techno. And this was in like 2015. This was even before I got to experience remote work, even before remote work even became like a thing post-pandemic. So what I did was when I was working with Techno, then they were giving me tasks. I was getting a lot of tasks. So what I did, I was doing a lot of stuff around like, if you guys were familiar with like the Common series, then Techno Common series, I was one of the people that launched like the phone. So we're always doing like a lot of live tweeting, going on Ireland, creating like threads on Ireland back then, on Twitter, then creating a lot of campaigns around like the launch of the product. So it was really, really fascinating. And to also give you guys context, I was studying metallurgical and materials engineering at the time. So I was a 200 level student. And I was already seeing the vision that, because then back then, every weekend we used to, because I was still a student then, so I couldn't during the week, I couldn't like go for like meetings. So the only time I got to like meet my other colleagues was like on weekends. So on weekends, I was seeing people from different parts of like the globe. I was working with people in China, people in France, like different countries across the world. And it kind of like gave me the vision. And that's, I mean, I enjoyed it because I think that was like number one thing for me. I enjoyed the work. Like I remember I would stay up all night after like maybe finish an assignment. I'll stay up all night back then, and I'll be doing my work. It was something I really enjoyed. I was always looking forward to work, and I already saw my managers back then. I saw that I could replicate what they already did, and I think that was for me. That was kind of like where the aha moment just really came and said, I mean, I can already see that, okay, this, if I go into marketing, because I mean, what I defined as my career path, because I was working in marketing at Techno. I said, if these guys can do it, I could easily do it. And most of them didn't come from like, from marketing background. My manager at the time I also studied like biochemistry at the time too. And just kind of say, I mean, this guy has done it, I could easily do it. So that was kind of like it for me. So yeah.
Okay, I think I should probably go next
That's
if
fine.
Bolaji is done. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I was trying to fix my video. Unfortunately, I'm still not able to fix it. So I think after this, I'll just quickly switch to my phone and hopefully it works. But it's good anyways that I got to listen to the other speakers, I mean, especially, and to know that I'm actually not alone. So for me also, just like, I mean, there was no wow moment. There was nothing like, oh, I fell in love with my career at some point, but it wasn't like the regular wow story that you love to hear. And at the risk of oversimplifying things, I would say it was life, it was God that was just nudging me towards the right direction. Because most of the decisions I made, especially at the early stage of my career, which dated back to senior secondary school, were made out of naivety, out of so just a girl that wanted to do what she enjoys doing. So I've always wanted to do journalism as a child, social justice journalism, because growing up, I watched a lot of movies. I read books about social justice, the likes of Sarafina, Long Walk to Freedom, The Car-Free Boy, Ruth, and those kind of movies. So I really wanted journalism. But for some weird reasons, weird because I was just an average student, but then a lot of people, my family expected I go to science. And coincidentally, around that time, I lost someone close to me, someone very dear to cancer. So with my childlike mind, I was like, yes, it's a good opportunity. I'll go to science and probably I'll be the first. No, it wasn't probably then. I was so sure I was going to discover a cure to cancer. Now that I'm talking about it, it's actually quite funny. So lo and behold, I ended up in science class. And while still in secondary school, I think I was around 13, 14 at that point. I watched this documentary on either CNN or Al Jazeera, I can't remember again. It was about amputees that were amputated because they could not access good orthopedic service. So I told myself that I was going to be an orthopedic, no longer a cancer researcher, but an orthopedist to find cure. To cut the long story short, I actually ended up reading biochemistry, which I ended up falling in love with, especially in my last 2 years, 300 and 400 level. By the time I was done with uni,
had become more realistic, wiser, of course, and I knew it was going to take more than good intentions to find a cure to cancer or to help in that field as such. So I went back to my first love, which was journalism. I had to work for a while, save up, then went back to school to do a postgraduate diploma in journalism. And I think one of the good things I did for myself then was exposing myself to a lot of learning opportunities. If there was any seminar, any conference in Lagos, then you on media, you will find me there. And it was in one of those trainings that I stumbled on data journalism. I was like, this is a new field, it's interesting, and I fell in love with it. And the rest they say is history. From data journalism, I moved to health data analytics. But one thing about my job, upon reflection, that I've noticed is even though I made some of my decisions out of naivety, one thing I know is I always had a why that was purpose driven, quote and unquote, a why that wanted to make an impact. For example, I wanted to be a medical doctor because of XYZ. I wanted to be a journalist because I wanted to tell stories of impact, stories around social justice. And now that I'm working as an healthcare data analyst, I'm doing that because even though I can't go back to say, I want to find a cure for cancer, I want to help do this, help do that, I know with what I'm doing, I could help to identify gaps in the healthcare sector to help improve patient delivery, service delivery. And at the end of the day, of course, people will still die, or at least to a large extent, we're able to reduce the chances of people dying due to healthcare errors and all of those things. So I'm still back to telling my story, but now with data to say, this is what we're doing correctly. This is where we need to improve. This is how we need to improve patient service delivery generally. I think I should stop here.
Okay, so I'm just going to speak next. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
All
we
right,
can.
thank you. So like Amin had said, there was no special moment for me actually. So it was all about running after the money. And I say this without no shame, always run after the money. So for me, so I started, I did my first degree, did my second degree, and I started my first job as a QA analyst at a petrol lubricant blending firm. And they were paying me 75K. So that was back in 2015, 16. I was somewhere in Oshogo. So it made sense. 75K in Oshogo in 2015. I was living in my parent house. So basically, my expense in a month would probably be around 10,000. So I could still pocket 65,000 in a month. But my goal has always been I wanted to start my career with a six-figure job. So it didn't make sense to me that I was doing something for 75K. So I approached my supervisor then and said, I want you guys to increase my salary to this amount. And they said, no, we can do that for you only if you would sign to work for us for another 1 year. I wasn't ready for that because I saw myself doing more and not staying there. So it was a thing of no for me. So then I just tried going into other companies, applied to a lot of companies in the oil and gas sector then. I applied to a couple of other manufacturing firms, went for different interviews and all of that. Then somehow I just stumbled on Nairaland and I saw that they were paying bankers this amount. Like, oh, really? So it's not just oil and gas and tech companies or telecommunication companies then that were getting this kind of money. So it was that thing for me. So going after the money. And honestly, I would say I joined Access Bank. I would name the brand. So because my story is always never complete without the Access Bank brand. So I joined Access Bank as a graduate trainee, and that was where the push started. So I changed my location from schooling in sorry, from schooling in Ilorin, living in Oshogo, and having to come back to Lagos because I started my primary school in Lagos then. So it showed me a different perspective to life. It showed me a different way to living. It showed me a different way to how much money you can make and how well you can live. So that was the whole change for me. So it wasn't a thing around I found, oh, this was a passion or something. I just was after the money, and that was the truth. So going into it, then I found out this is something I could do. Finance is, everybody expects finance to be simple, but there is no financial product if it's not complicated for a lot of people to understand, for a few people to understand. So a few people understand, so you can make money off a lot of other people. So for me, I would say it gave me that drive to say, yeah, I could do more of this, pursue more in this finance field, and get the best out of it. So I transitioned a couple of times outside finance, and I came back because it's still where I want to be. So that's my own story. There was no specific eureka moment that would say, oh, this is where I found what I needed. It was just a thing around. I had a need for something. I wanted a six-figure job, six-figure pay at that point, and I was getting something that even doubled what I needed. So I went for it, and yeah, it's been good all the way.
All right. Thank you very much for your answers. I think one thing I've observed here is every speaker said there was no eureka moment, it wasn't such a big deal, but I think it was a big deal. I can see there was purpose, there was work, there was effort from everybody. You liked how tech people, and that's you liked the way tech people were. I think I'm not the only one, because just hearing that tech bro, I think there's some kind of rep that comes with it. And then even if you did it for the money, that's still something. That's still passion. Yes, that's still something. So there was a lot of work. It's not as simple as you people are putting it. Change is a lot at the end of the day. And well, let's move on to the next question. And since we started with Amin, I think I will just go around like that to make it easy for everyone. So Amin, this question is going to you. A lot of students tend to see cybersecurity as a difficult field. I'm not a student, but I actually do see it as a difficult field too. Is this true? And if this is true, how have you been able to succeed in the field despite that?
Simple answer, truthful answer. Can you hear me? Yeah, I believe you can hear me. I think the simple answer to that is yes, of course, it is difficult. Why would you think something would be highly rewarding if it is not difficult? Why would organizations be paying like maybe times 5 of what they pay the regular guys if it was easy? Everyone would be doing it, right? So I'm not going to give you all the fake perspire to acquire and tell you it's easy. Of course, it is not easy, but again, there's always a but, right? If I can do it, I believe everyone can do it. There's always that thing that drives you, that pushes you. So you need to, one personal philosophy for me is I like to go do the difficult things, right? So because I know that difficult things are highly rewarding. So I think it was Kabir that talked about money. So money was I feel like, why do organization pay? Why would they pay a cleaner 30,000 naira and they would pay some guy to just come in to sit on the computer all day, 700K in the same organization when the cleaner is doing all the, hard work? And so then you realize that it's about how much value the organization see you're bringing in for them. And when I say cybersecurity, bringing it back to cybersecurity, it's all about how you choose to approach it. But as a field on its own, I'm not going to tell you it's a piece of cake. You need to put in the work. Like, you were reading my profile, and it was sort of a nostalgic moment for me, because I was thinking, I remember those the nights, the long nights where we had to stay back reading on the weekend. I remember studying for my CISSP. It took me 6 months of continuous study, like every single day. I was reading every single day for 6 months. I still have the book somewhere on in my shelf. So it's just about how much effort you're willing to put in, right? So nothing is difficult if you're willing to put in the work. People think it's, I would personally tell you, if you've made a decision inside yourself to say, I really want to go for this thing, yeah, just start. When Mark Zuckerberg said, things don't come fully formed to you, right? So when you start, it wouldn't even make sense to you. Just like, what am I doing? What is this? Like, you don't understand anything. But when you continue to build, it starts to make sense. You start seeing those, oh, you remember this thing you read yesterday, it's starting to make sense because you continue. It's just the consistency that a lot of people can't do. I've mentored a lot of people. I see the ones that from the beginning of the mentorship, I can always tell the people that would sort of last long and the people that would fall sort of, in during the journey. So it's really a lot of discipline, a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. And one last thing is, I think we are different people. Some people are self-motivated. Some people prefer other people to motivate them. For someone like me, I am self-motivated. That means I don't really need anyone to tell me, oh, you can do this. I could just sit down and be like, you know what, tomorrow I want to learn carpentry, and I'm watching lots of YouTube about carpentry. I'm looking forward to learn carpentry. So it's really, you need to motivate yourself, especially when you work in tech. It is a very fast-moving world. Like, things are changing. Before you finish reading A today, they will tell you, oh, we've moved on from A, we're now doing B and C, right? So you can't sit and be like, oh, you're so relaxed and so lackadaisical and thinking things will just, so you have to put in a lot of work, a lot of effort. You have to be disciplined, you have to be self-motivated. And yeah, I believe you can do it. Like, anyone can do it. I've started as a geologist. I'm doing cloud security now. It's not easy, but it's doable. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for your answer. So I think one thing stands out. Someone said in the comment section that section rather, that it all boils down to the money. I think money is a very huge motivation for everyone here. So if you've been wondering, just like me, cybersecurity is not a piece of cake. But if you are willing to put in the work and you want your 6 figures, 7 figures, and all the figures in the world, you can definitely go for it. That is what our speaker just said. Thank you very much, Amin. So my next question will be going to Bolaji. How can young people navigate the overwhelming flow of information online in a way that helps them grow and build their identity rather than being consumed by it? Because honestly, when you go online, there's so much to take in, and we know in some way it affects people positively and also negatively. So how can young people use the information online or use the access they have, the things they have access to online, in a way that helps them grow and build their identity and not in negative ways?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I like that question because I think because this current time we're in, there's that it's very easy to get consumed by the amount of information. And apart from that, there's a lot of things that are just going online. There are multiples of platforms in terms of like just social channels alone. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have Snapchat, you have Twitter. There is a lot compared to maybe 20 years ago. You didn't have as much social media platform, or even just the internet generally the way it is. So I think as a young person right now, I think one thing that's very, very important that you need to do is curate your timeline. Timeline could be anywhere. It could be TikTok, any platform that you are. And if you set like a target for yourself to say, okay, I'm currently a chemical engineer. I intend to become a, say, cybersecurity engineer, just like Amin is. So what you want to do is look for, say, 3, 4, 5 people that that have done what you do. They are currently cybersecurity engineers. Look for them, follow them everywhere. Right now, YouTube is probably one of your best places. Twitter, Instagram, you probably have people like that. Follow those kind of people, clean your timeline away from the kind of content that you know is going to derail you from your goal. When you pick those people, follow them religiously. And I think another major thing that is also very important too is when you want to do these things, it's very great to lock in on one thing, as opposed to you come today, you say, okay, today I want to do design, tomorrow, the following day you're doing engineering, the following day, that way you're even losing a lot of focus, because in the whole process of trying to consume content from 3 different disciplines alone, I mean, it can get very overwhelming. But when you pick one particular discipline, cybersecurity, for example, and you decide, okay, how do I get information? Do you decide where you're going to be getting information from? Well, I know I can if I follow Amin on YouTube, for example, I follow him on Twitter. I know he tweets about, let's say he tweets about cybersecurity. I know I'm getting like quality information. So what you also want to do is, based on what you are getting from this, from all of this platform, let's say you're following 5 people from in that particular discipline, when you're getting this information, you're putting it into practice. I think it's also very important. You don't just want to consume content. Let's say a particular resources recommended. You want to ensure that you are learning that particular, you're spending the time to also like really consume it and also practice. And one thing I also like to recommend to what's it called? Young people these days is also, especially when you're trying to, in this particular age, it's also really good to, as you are learning, it's also great to, there's something I like to say, don't build in silence. So in this case, don't also learn in silence. Learn in the public. So for example, now you've decided that okay, you want to look into like cybersecurity. You can claim, if there's a way to like maybe create some form of passion project, do it. Because I feel like one of the major things when it comes to like any discipline that you want to do is you need to share or practice more than what you're learning, because the real learning also comes in trying to do that thing. So personally for me, because I think another thing that's also very important, even within this pivots, there's still another pivot within it. Let me put it that way, because I mean, I was a marketing person. I started in digital marketing over like say 10 years ago in 2015 that I mentioned earlier on. But within the space of these 10 years, I've moved to product marketing. I've done growth marketing. I've moved to partnership marketing. Like there are a lot of sub-disciplines within the discipline. And this year, I've done another kind of pivot. So with the whole advent of AI, there's like a relatively new field that's called GTM engineering, still under marketing anyway. And I've pivoted to that. So what I did is just what I did exactly is what I'm also sharing with you. I curated my timeline on LinkedIn, for example. I looked for like the top people that were doing that particular thing, and I followed them. All of the resources they were sharing, I was consuming them, and I was also like building my own projects. And while I was also building those projects, I was also talking about it on my platform. I cleaned my timeline everywhere. And within, I mean, the couple of months that I've done, I've gotten a lot of like even roles, like because people also like really see that, oh yeah, this guy also knows what he's doing. I'm also now also positioning myself as some form of, oh, I didn't know everything. I was also like sharing my progress. I was sharing my learnings, everything I was doing. So I think that's also really important. I think it's very important that when you pick something that you want to do, zero in on it. Don't dilly-dally, don't go, you don't do this today, don't do that tomorrow. And also just really ensure that you're also putting in practice what you're trying to learn. And also very important, don't also learn in silence, learn in public. Because when you learn in public, you also find your tribe. Because it's also very important, because when you're also like trying to build into like particular discipline, peer mentorship also like really help. And I think that's something that a lot of people downplay. I'll say most of my growth today has been powered by peer mentorship, as opposed to me looking for people that were way ahead of me. Because I mean, people that were on the same level, we could dedicate more time to each other, and we could share things together in real time. So yeah.
Thank you very much for your response. Though I feel attacked, because why did you have to say, don't go into design today and engineering tomorrow? I studied engineering and I'm also a graphics designer. But I do get you. It is very, very good to be specific, to know, even though you want to learn a lot of things, the market is changing, know what you are doing, follow, choose a path, focus on it, practice. And I think one point that stands out to me is building in the public. I think that was how you put it. There was a time I was very, very intentional with my presence out there. I'm into advocacy, and I was really like, put any small thing anywhere I go to, no matter how little, I would put it online. I was opportune to, I was privileged. LinkedIn people, you people know how we put it out there. And I cannot even like, I can't count the number of opportunities I had access to, even internationally. It was a lot, and it was really, really good. So I know for a fact that is, every point you mentioned is very important actually, but that one stands out to me. So thank you once again for your response. I'll be giving the next question to Fumi Layo. So Fumi, For students and young professionals, pivoting often means letting go of the familiar, leaving your comfort zone, letting go of what you know. How do you personally embrace uncertainty in career transitions? What do you have to say for students when they want to pivot, when they have to leave their comfort zones? Or what do you have to say to, rather?
All right, thank you. Please, can you see me now?
No.
Voila. Okay, you know what? Let me just leave this. So the question was about handling uncertainty, right? For
Yeah.
students and I guess young professionals too. Or to be honest, I would say everyone generally, because the truth is, whether you're pivoting or you're staying still in a familiar territory, as far as you want to progress, there will always be some level of uncertainty that you have to deal with, whether it's a familiar one or a new career. And I think the most important thing is how you respond to this uncertainty. And for you to be able to navigate this, I think I should talk about what has worked for me in navigating uncertainty in new territories. The first thing is sincerity. And I think the keynote speaker kind of mentioned this. Be honest with yourself. Do a self-assessment. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What is that and that you know how to do best? Like once you're around, everybody knows this is said, so they can all go to bed with their two eyes closed. So just be honest with yourself. Know the things that you need to learn, unlearn, the things you need to keep doing and probably stop doing. So that helps. It's a good place to start. And I would say openness also. Be very open to learning. Be humble enough to learn new things. There's no way you'll be progressing in a particular career that at some point you won't have to stop doing some certain things and embrace new things. So you have to be open to learning and have a legitimate and purpose-driven why as to what you're doing, or why you're changing career. And it could be anything at all, but just have a motivation. Like Kabir said earlier, his own was money, which is very legitimate. For Amin, it was something else. For Bolaji, it was totally different. Just have a motivation, because when it gets tough, it's this reason that will keep you going. Remember, oh no, I want the 6 figures, I want the 7 figures. Let me keep at it. Or this is the reason why I'm doing this. So have a well-defined purpose, have that motivation as to what you're doing, what you're doing. It helps. And also embrace the fact that just like any form of growth, learning is never a linear process. In the first month, at the end of the first month, I feel like you've gotten a good hold of the cultural nuances, the skills, everything that you need to know in the field or the organization, as the case might be. And then the next month, you're asking what seems like very silly questions. It's okay, be kind to yourself. It's all part of the process. As far as you're putting in your best, it's all that matters. And the last one I'll say is optimism, be positive. I don't even think it's possible to achieve anything without some level of optimism. To get started, you need to be positive. You need to know that at some point you'll be able to achieve what you've set for yourself to achieve. Because if you don't believe that you're going to achieve it at the end of the day, what's the point? If you don't think you're going to excel in a particular field, what's the point going into that field? So you need that level of optimism to start and to keep going, especially when things get uncertain. And I think it's important for me to say this also. There are times that you question yourself, you will miss your old job, you miss your old space, and you'll be asking yourself, have I made the right decision? It's okay, it's normal. There's just something about familiarity. There's this warmth to it that has a way of pulling you back. And if you're not careful, you really get pulled back. So just realize that it's normal and keep doing what you know how to do best. Yeah.
Thank you very much for me. That was quite inspiring. Thank you very much. So Be kind to yourself, be true to the process, be open to learning, be positive, and have motivation as well as purpose. So when you wake up someday and you're like, what am I even doing like this? Remember why you started and why you are where you are. The next question is to Kabir. Many young professionals fear leaving their first career path. What practical steps has helped you successfully switch fields?
Honestly, it's not always easy, and that's the reality we need to accept. There's no easy way to do it. So you've learned something for 4 years, 5 years, and maybe you started your career in that same line, and somehow you just have to switch. You have to transition to something else out of necessity or out of I just want to pursue something that gives me that I'm satisfying my passion or something that would give me more money or something that would put me in a better position. It's always going to be difficult. And so, how do you navigate through that proceeding to the next stage? There's always the fear of uncertainty. There's the fear that if I start this thing, what happens to me in the next 5 years? I want to join tech, for example. Am I sure that this is going to be the selling tech in the next 5 years? What if I join it today and somehow these places start working, they crash and all those things? One of the difficult things with transitioning is the same thing. You start your job somewhere, you want to get a pay rise, and you're going to another institution to work. You're scared of the fact that what if I move to this institution and somehow the company folds in a couple of months? What happens to me? So how do you navigate through this fear? I would say first is clarify your why. So it starts with why do I want to leave? Or why do I want to do this? Or why do I want to transition to something else? I've studied engineering all my life. Why do I want to go into tech? Why do I want to go into finance? Or why do I want to even do journalism for whatever reason it is? Know that why and see if it's something that makes you sleep well at night. I would always say make it legitimate. So it's not because there's somebody out there that is oppressing you and you're like, oh, there's this person. The person is always just throwing money around or making whatever it is. Those are not legitimate whys, but you need to know something that works for you. So when you know the why, then you need to now start look at where you are today. So it doesn't matter where you've been or what you've studied. Look at where you are today. What can I transfer from my current situation to where I want to be? So I want to transition into finance that I am in, for example. I know that I studied chemistry, and how would I now be good at what I do? One of the first things for me was I was good with numbers. So I know for certain finance is not going to be a problem because it's all about numbers. I know how to analyze things, no matter how complicated it is. So it was a thing around, oh, I'm bringing my analytical skills, I'm bringing my numerical skills, I'm bringing into this field. And I'm seeing people that were going to training school together, and I'm like, you guys are not better off, even though you have a background in finance, you guys have your ICANN or whatever it is you have, I would still do better than you are. So it was a thing around what are those skills that I do have that I'm going to take into my new field and I'm going to use to compete with every other person. Then you're looking at how do I want to start learning? It has to be an intentional thing. You need to know that what you're trying to do. I'm a bit distracted. I'm still at work, so just give me a moment here. You need to also know that you need to learn. You're coming from somewhere to something new, so it needs you to unlearn a lot of things that you've learned in the past and learn new things. So you're not carrying the baggage of I schooled 7 years in whatever school I'd gone to with ASU strike and all of that. You need to let go of those baggages and start learning new things. I want to be in tech. This is what I want to learn. I want to learn finance. This is what I need to learn. What are those certifications that I need that would make me excel or that would make me compete with people that are already in this field 10, 15 years before I joined? So those are the things you need to start looking at. Someone said, just the street lingo, I'll tell you that person way by car 5 years ago, now I buy old model. That's basically what it is. So I'm coming into a field today and I'm meeting somebody that has joined 5 years ago. The person might have experience than I do, but I can still do better than the person if I choose to learn a lot of things. So I would work twice as hard as people that have already been in that field. So knowing your why, know the skills you want to transfer from where you are to where you want to be, and be deliberate with your learning. Another thing would be networking and having mentors. So when I joined the bank, for example, there were people that I looked up to and said, I want to be like this person. So one of them is someone I still keep in touch with. Someone who joined the bank and within the space of 10 years, I'd become a manager. It wasn't something easy. That's 8 steps you need to have scaled through to become a manager. And he did that in 10 years. So it was a thing around, if this person could do it, then this is enough motivation for any other person that wants to do it. So those are the kind of things you want to do. You also need exposure. Honestly, I would say exposure over education at some point, or over class learning at every point in time. So because what exposure gives you is, it gives you an eye opener to see things differently. So you're not seeing it from the myopic view of how it has always been, or how I've learned it growing up, or how my teachers have taught me, or how my parents have taught me. You're seeing it from the angle of people of diverse learning background or diverse career background are saying things and are seeing it differently. So coming from a chemistry background, coming into finance, I would see how to approach numbers differently from somebody that has studied accounting or somebody that has studied banking and finance. So those are the things with how you can navigate. So practical ways, just to do a recap, is knowing your why, learning that you have some skills that you can transfer. So identifying those skills and making use of them. The next thing would be deliberate with your learning. You want to outwork, or you want to work twice as hard as people that you're meeting in that field. So you want to set yourself apart. So you need to do that groundwork. Then you need to network, find a mentor if you need. Then use your exposure as much as you want to do. And one thing Emmanuel had mentioned earlier is rebranding, telling your stories. I would say if you're going through a transition, tell your stories. Don't lie about the fact that, oh, you did something, you did not do something. You might probably not say the truth, like the full truth, but you would not lie. So just tell your stories in a way it makes sense to anybody that wants to read, and they are able to see the drive in you to say, oh, this person, even though did not study the first degree or whatever degree, did not meet the education requirement, but they are able to show resilience by telling the story of how they transition and all of that. So basically, it's not easy, but it's very achievable.
Okay, thank you very much, Kabir, for these very practical steps. Let me try to see if I got everything right. Tell your story, that's definitely the last one. Be deliberate with your learning, networking, exposure. Which one am I missing? Okay. Have a clear why. Yes, have a clear why. Telling your story. I like the fact that you said tell your story as it is. Be honest, be truthful with your story. Because the truth is, a lot of people are struggling. A lot of us are struggling. Sometimes, I know, yes, you want to go on LinkedIn, you want to go out there and say, I did this, I did that, which is not bad if you did it. But sometimes people want to see relatable struggles and stories. So say it. You don't know. There might be someone that is coming from where, that is where you are coming from at the moment, and your story might just be the motivation they need. So thank you very much, Abdul Kabir, for that. And now we'll be going back to Amin. So Amin, the next question is for you. Okay. You run a podcast from your profile. You run a podcast and teach online. What is your podcast about, and how can it benefit young people?
All right, great question. So, I'll give you a quick background of why I even started the podcast in the first place. So, um, I realized that I was I'm a very shy person, right? So I don't know if you've probably noticed that already, and very introverted. So I would most likely be on my own, and I prefer not to speak to people. But I realized that if I was going to make a mark or stand out, especially in the field I work in, I needed to work on my sort of shyness and my public speaking and so initially I just thought, okay, what can I do to improve my just put myself in that position where I'm not that shy, just speak in front of a camera, and that was why I started the podcast. And then that was one reason. That wasn't the only reason. The second reason was that a lot of time I get a lot of questions from people, right? So someone's reaching out to me on Twitter, like a lot of people reach out to me via X, and they would ask questions. Sometimes questions I can't even answer because they would assume, or because I work in tech, I must be able to answer every question about tech, right? So they come in and ask question, oh, I've done this, I've done that. I'm like, oh, how do I? So then I would probably speak to some of my friends or direct them. So, for example, if someone's come to me to ask about data analytics, for example, I have a very close friend. I would just say, what, speak to this person, tell them you're from me, and then they would speak to you. So I thought instead of doing this all the time, why don't I bring these people, have like sort of one-on-one conversation with them and ask some of these questions that a lot of people have been asking me and sort of hear it from the horse's mouth, right? So when I'm transferring the message someone has passed across, we're breaking down the communication channel. So I would prefer bring this person in. So for example, I brought someone in that is a GRC expert, and they share their experience. And I think you mentioned something very important. People tend to appreciate when they can relate with other people's struggles, right? So because on social media, the crazy thing is everyone makes things look so perfect, like life is so easy, life is so good. I bet some people would you probably look at my LinkedIn and like, oh my God, this guy has so many, it must be so easy, it must be so like it is not like that, right? It's not always that easy. So when I bring in these people, like we have like a chat. So rather than make it something very formal and you're cutting it's like an informal chat where they're like vulnerable, they tell you the truth about how they've started their career. So for example, I've had people who are like GRC expert, data analyst, I've had security expert. So because I can't do all these things on my own, right? I only know sort of my focus is on cybersecurity and not on every other thing. So that was the main reason that I started the podcast. And I think, yeah, a lot of people have been reaching out to me like, oh my God, like I connected to this person on LinkedIn, and I enjoyed what this person said. Like the feedback has been really amazing, and that is why we've kept going. We've been doing, I think we do one episode every 2 weeks. Like I have to like get the guest, get the time that works for both of us, ask prepare for the interview. It's like a 1 hour session just to make sure it doesn't like go too long so people don't get, our attention spans are like very, very short. So yeah, those were like my two major reasons. So for my own personal self, so it was sort of a selfish reason for myself as well, like improve my speaking skills, improve my public relation skills, and my presentation skill, all of that. And then secondly, to help answer a lot of the questions I get. And yeah, I think the benefit has been really, really surprising. Like sometimes I get emails from just yesterday, I got no, it wasn't yesterday, it was last week. I got an email from a secondary school student, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing on YouTube watching interviews about data analytics? And the girl was like, I'm in my SS3. I am preparing. I've just finished YX, something like that, and I don't know which one to go for, if I should go for data analytics or something. And just take my time to reply and give some direction based on what they think would work best for them. But yeah, it's really more about putting yourself out there, giving the right information. I just want people to have access to the information, because I feel like one key thing that we lack today is we're too lazy to like, people want to be spoon fed, right? And people don't want to like go and source, this information, and if I'm able to do a little bit and put that information together in a 1 hour video, I think the least you can do is to sit down for 1 hour to watch those videos, and hopefully people benefit from them. The feedbacks are good, so yeah, that's what we're doing it. And I believe anyone who is interested could go to YouTube. It's called Tech Beyond Pod. So again, I didn't want it to focus on just tech, so I thought instead of just doing a solely tech, because I want to speak to entrepreneurs as well. Not everyone is going to do tech, right? Not everyone is going to do um, finance like not everyone is going to do finance like Kabir. So I'm like, could be anything. So if I get an expert, as long as you're doing well in your field, I could even reach out to some of these co-panelists and be like, guys, would you like to jump on and let's have a 1 hour session? Just share your experience, tell people how you've gone through it. So they're able to go into a lot of details, and yeah, they would they just give out the information. And one thing I'd also like to point out, what I have noticed personally is that you see when people do podcast, when people write something, you can be behind the keyboard. If I write something on Twitter, like there is no way you can't connect with it because you're not even sure if it is true or like if it's false, right? But with long form podcast, there's no way you would try to be a fake person for 1 hour, right? There's almost this certainty like people would eventually be themselves at some point, and as long as you make them feel comfortable as the host, they'll just be like real with you and they will tell you the whole truth, like because but if you're just reading maybe text kind of content where I could write when I'm in the best mood, write all the nice things and send it out there, you read it, you're like, oh, that's fine. But when you interview someone in a live environment, they're being recorded, and eventually they just loosen up and just tell you the truth about everything, which I think is one thing that I found uniquely different about podcasts and the long form podcasts especially. So yeah, if you want to go to YouTube, you'd see Tech Beyond Pod. It's the same handle everywhere on X, on TikTok, on Instagram. Tech Beyond Pod. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm actually very motivated because I'm someone that struggles with being in front of the camera. Behind it, no problem. I'll hype you up and everything. But in front of it, I love that you took something that is like a fear and you made something this beautiful out of it. I'm very motivated, and I'm sure a lot of people here are motivated too. So please, can someone type the name of the podcast in the comments, the chat box? So if there is anybody that wants to look it up, they can. Yeah, Tech Beyond Pod. All right, thank you very much, Amin. So I'll move to the next question now. That's for Bolaji. Okay, so in a digital economy where visibility is key, what mistakes do you see young professionals making most often, and how can they avoid them? Can you just briefly, in some minutes, give a response to this? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the answer to this question, I think the keynote speaker and some of my panelists already even answered it already. So I think the answer will be when, in terms of like visibility, a lot of people try to position themselves in ways that they are not. So imagine you as a student, just trying to find your way into product designer, into product design, and you've never had a real job, but you're positioning yourself on LinkedIn, Twitter as a senior designer. That's you're killing your career already. And I think one major mistake a lot of people do is they always make this effort to make people want to view them as an expert when you're not. You don't, when you're trying to grow your visibility online, you don't always have to position yourself as an expert. If you are taking a course, say for example, you are taking a course at a particular boot camp, share your experience about that boot camp, talk about the highs and lows. It does not, you don't always have to say them, all your story that you're sharing online does not always have to be very perfect. When I talked about moving into like GTM engineering earlier this year, when I was taking the program, because I actually went back to school. I went to like a GTM engineering school earlier this year. While I was going through the school, I was sharing my story. I was talking about what I was learning. I didn't position myself as an expert to say. So I think that's like a major mistake I say a lot of people do. always trying to share their story or position themselves as what they are not. It's something that can really hurt you because I mean, somebody that's supposed to help you, for example, somebody that has like a very solid entry level that's supposed to recommend you. Oh, it's gonna say, oh, this person is too big for this, or they will skip you. So yeah, I think that's like a major a mistake. So I don't take too much time. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your response. I really like the response. Don't, even if you're trying to fake it till you make it, don't fake it so your helper will pass you by. I think that's my own summary for what you just said. Okay, time is fast spent, and even though we still have questions for our speakers, and I myself, I really don't mind, but this is Nigeria data, they are sucking it with straw. So I think we'll just go to the closing question now. And this question, just like the opening question, is for every speaker here. So, change can feel scary, especially when you're still figuring things out. What's one thing you want every young person here to remember when life doesn't go as planned? Just very briefly, in a few words, just one thing they can hold on to when everything is scary and upside down. Thank you very much. I think that would be Fumilayo. Just since you are the next person, just tell us, then the others too will. Thank you very much.
Okay, just give me a minute. Is my video showing yet?
Yes, we can finally see you.
Finally. Thank you. Sorry, can you please repeat the question? I was so focused on getting this video right, I missed that.
All right. Okay. So change can feel scary, especially when you're figuring things out. So what's one thing you want every young person here to remember when life doesn't go as planned? Just like a summary, something very brief, something they can hold on to remember during the tough times. Thank you.
Okay, I'd say during the tough time, it's important that we pause and listen. What's the situation telling you? What do you need to learn from the situation? What do you need to change or stop doing? There's something my dad used to say. I feel like that's his favorite quote. I was always saying it while growing up, that to retreat and re-strategize is never a sign of cowardice. So there are times that it's not about you continue doing that, putting in that extra effort. It's just about you stopping what you're doing at that point. So, and that's where self-assessment comes in. Evaluate yourself, continue to do that periodic checks, that periodic evaluation, and know where you are at every point in time. So just to reiterate again, listening to that situation and also go back to why you're doing what you're doing. At times, it's the only fall you need to keep going when things are not going as planned. And just to add again, have that support system. It's very important. Have that group of friends, mentors, peer colleagues at work, family that are always rooting for you, that will always support you, that can help you to navigate whatever it is they are going through, either through their experience or whatsoever at all. And so just to repeat myself, listen to the situation, remember why you started, go back to your purpose, your well-defined why, and have that strong support system. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Abdul Kabir. Yes, Abdul Kabir, please, we would like to hear from you. Abdul Kabir? Okay, if you are not there, I think we'll just move to Amin, then Bolaji. So Abdul Kabir can join us when it's back.
Yep, thanks for that. I think, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think yeah, Olufumilayo's last point was what I was gonna start with, which was ask yourself why. I think personally that's one thing that keeps me going. Once you know your why and you're like, oh, am I there yet? No, I'm not there yet. And even though those tough time I might not be the kind of person when Fumilayo was saying, oh, get your support system, do this. We are different people. Like personally, I don't do all of that. I just like I said, I'm a very self-motivated person. Like I just remember the same reason I've started. So if I had started something, I just use that as a motivation to, like, keep going as long as I'm not there yet. But yeah, two things I would really like to say before I yield the mic is, and these are like two personal philosophies that has really, really helped me. Two things. Remember when I was saying earlier, like shyness is one thing I really battled with. So I'm a very shy person and I really struggle. So two quotes. I was watching a YouTube video one day and someone mentioned a quote and it was like his grandmother told him, a shy person gets nothing. So this is like one thing, very short and as simple as it sounds, it really, really made a lot of positive impact in my life. So a shy person gets nothing. I really want you to remember this. If you don't take away anything today from what I've said, please take away these two these two things. So whenever you're in a situation where you feel like, oh my God, man, can I, you've met someone you've always wanted to speak to, or you see an opportunity you want to, but you are shy, you feel like, are you confident enough to approach it? Remember, a shy person gets nothing. If you don't take that step, like you're not going to get anything. If you actually take this step, even if you get rejected, at least you get something out of it, which is rejection. So please take away that. And also the second thing that I personally use a lot these days is, what's the worst that would happen? So if I need to do something and I'm worried, like, is this thing going to work? What I do a risk assessment before doing that thing. I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? Number one, is someone going to die? Like, am I going to die as a result of what I'm about to do? No, I'm not going to die. Uh, what's the other thing that would happen? Oh, they will say no to me. If I apply for this job, they will send a rejection email, right? If I decide to go this thing, this would that. So once you've already seen you've played all the worst scenarios in your head, right? You would be so surprised, like, oh, when you eventually go, it's not even that difficult. It's not even as bad as you think. So, two things: a shy person gets nothing. When you see an opportunity, go for it. Don't let your weakness in terms of shyness or introvertness bring you down. And then always assess before you go in. If you need to do something that really means something to you, be your own self-critic. Already, just go with the word, like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm trying to find some good way to explain, but I feel like it's self-explanatory. Like the moment you ask yourself what's the worst that can happen, uh you're like you've beaten down that whatever challenge that would come out of that, you've already like taken it to the barest minimum. So yeah, those are like two key takeaways I would leave you with.
All right, thank you. These are very important takeaways. Thank you very much. And please, you will not use the mic now because we have questions in the chat box. We'll try to take a few for the speakers here before we round up. But this is definitely the closing question. So take a breather and then we'll get to the questions. Thank you very much. So Bolaji, please, what do you have to say? Do I need to repeat the question?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I think the way, I mean, my co-panelists already, they've said most of it, but I think the way I'll also just share again is always treat your career like a product. So a product in the sense that always what you should always be thinking about is shipping. So shipping in the sense that when you think about like your favorite mobile app for now, say Facebook was not what it was 15 years ago, but they kept shipping every day. They kept shipping. So, and if you go to like your app store or your whatever app store, whether it's Apple Play Store, Google Play Store, you see that there's something they will put like a change log. They'll say, oh, version 1, version 2. That's how you should be thinking about your career. So when you ship a version of your career today, let's say today, you decided to you want to make some change. You think about it, what's the worst that could happen, just like what Amin said. And even if the worst happened, what you should be thinking about is, how am I taking learnings from this that happened, whether I didn't go your way or something. That's always been my mantra. Like, if I do this, the worst thing that can happen is going to fail. And when it fails, how am I learning from this? How am I iterating on this? What are the lessons from this failure? And how am I going to improve from it? Because you have data, you have data from like other failure. If you know that, okay, this is not for me. And let's say you moved into data now. You figure that you didn't have like that analytical mindset. You figure that way, when that career doesn't go your way, anything that involves numbers analysis is definitely enough for you. So the next time you're trying something, it has to be something different. You're thinking about, oh, I have a knack for storytelling. I enjoy sharing stories a lot. You probably want to try your hands on say maybe marketing, for example. You can become a brand storyteller. That's something you can do. So, but what I'll say is always treat your career like a product, ship, iterate, and always learn from it. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So I think I will just go to the questions in the chat box. There are some questions in the chat box, and we'll answer a few before we round up for today. We round up the session, rather. So there's a question for Olufumilayo in the chat box. It says, okay, before we proceed, is Kabir back?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
All right, okay. Welcome back.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
I didn't
know what was happening to my audio earlier. So basically, what everyone has said would follow on that same path. And just to keep it simple, I would say for people that would come and say they would give you motivation and said, this is what I started pursuing my career when I was 6 years old or when I was 9 years old. I got it figured out. I wanted to be a surgeon and they finally became a surgeon. Personally, I really envy them because if you are able to figure out your shit as early as possible in life, you already have a head start. And good for anyone that is able to do that. But honestly, I feel like a lot of us are still trying to figure out things. We've not gotten it out, we've not gotten it sorted yet, and we'll keep trying. So one thing we need to understand is that realizing that you're not where you're supposed to be, or you want to transition into something else, is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth, that you know that this is what I've done in the last 5, 6 years, but I want to pursue something else. It's a sign of growth. It's a sign of you knowing a direction you want to follow. I would say be certain about it, but do not gamble your future as well. So there's a thin line in when you're being aspirative, and there's a between when you're just trying to gamble. You're trying this today, trying another thing tomorrow. Just know exactly what you want to do and focus and follow through on that. One thing you need to also understand is whatever skills or whatever you've developed in the past is part of what is going to form your journey into the future. So there's always going to be experiences, relationships that you'll be bringing from your past that would be useful for how your future would work out. So at the end of the day, just know that you should not dwell on the time that has gone by. Always focus on how much meaningful the time ahead of you can be. And there's no limit to what anyone can become. Honestly, we're all trying to figure out our stuff. We're trying to get better day by day. No one should settle for less. Thank you.
Thank you very much. These are very powerful words from our panelists. Thank you so much for leaving us with these words. So the question I had earlier is for Olufumilayo, as I said. The question says, I studied microbiology and used to work at the Ministry of Health. However, due to certain circumstances, I now work as an admin. I recently took a data analysis class, but it wasn't health related. Please, was it that you specifically learned health data analysis, or did you apply general data knowledge to the health field? Fumilayo, please, do you understand the question? And can you just
I do.
answer in like a minute? Thank you very much. So sorry that I'm rushing.
Okay.
Thank
No worries. So you don't need to specifically learn health data analysis once you've learned the general enough. Because at the end of the day, every organization has their peculiar data sets. So you always learn on the job. But one thing is, if you really want to work in that sector and you don't have an opportunity yet, I believe you're building your portfolio already. So whatever portfolio you're building, let's say, for example, you're building dashboards, you're getting free data on open data on Kaggle or any of those open data source, make sure that it's health related so that when you're going for interviews, when you're applying for jobs, you can say health related jobs, of course, you can say, this is what I've done in this sector. It just helps to build your profile and position you better. I hope I've answered your question.
Okay, I don't know who asked the question, but I hope your question has been answered. And if you are not clear on the question, please, you can check the panelists online. You can check their social media and follow them or reach out to them, connect with them there. I can see a question. All right, Miriam Abdullah, she said, yes, thank you so much. So you've answered that question. I saw a question for Amin, but I feel Amin has really tried for us on this on this session. So please, if you can reach out personally to him and give him your question. Is there any other question? Maybe I'm seeing a question I don't quite understand, so I think I'll let that pass. The person said, how can we make life soft? I don't know how to put that. So please, if there are any other questions I missed, let me know before we round up the session. Is there anyone with a question for the panelists? Okay, I'm saying it's rhetorical. All right, okay, that's good. Okay, I think we don't have any more questions. And if any other question comes to your mind, to the mind of the participants, feel free to connect with our panelists. As you can see, they are very cool people and you have a lot to learn from them. So this brings us to the end of the session. I can say for a fact that I've totally enjoyed this session. Everybody on the panel and even the keynote speaker has been amazing. Very, very amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you for staying with us till now. We really appreciate you. So I'll be handing over to Emmanuel now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Temi Tokwe. That was a great session. Reinventing you, right? Pivot with purpose. And all our panelists are guys that have had to pivot, right? I saw a biochemist turned journalist, right? And eventually didn't stop there. She went on to go into healthcare data analysis. I saw a geologist go into tech, crazy stuff. I saw analytic chemistry into finance, and it's doing big. I saw metallurgical engineering go into marketing. A whole lot of stuff, a lot of us have had to pivot, and that's been very, very interesting. I hope everyone here has learned a couple of things like I have learned. I've learned a lot from all the panelists. I took some words from the panelists as well. Somebody said inside that's your pivot, another pivot day inside. I'm sure you know the inside your Avia, another Avia day inside. You follow Charlie Poppy. So I got to hear another version of it today. Inside that your pivot, there's probably another pivot inside. Anyways, and another profounding stuff I heard was learn in public. You'll find your tribe, right? Do not be shy. They said the shy guy gets nothing. So I hope we learned a whole lot of stuff from them, like I did. And we hope we're going to put all of this into practice. And like I said earlier on, we want everyone on the call to participate. And I hope you've been participating because we've been looking. We saw a couple of people that have been very active in the comments section. And I'm going to be telling you that there are gifts for these persons. I'll be announcing a few persons that we've seen, we recognize you, we've noticed you. And of course, we're going to reward you with a couple of gifts. We have about 3 gifts to give now. And then we're going to go into a Kahoot game session where we're going to even win more gifts. We have one gift, which is a book, first of all, written by one of the panelists. The title of the book is Ifemade. If you're Yoruba, you probably know what that means. Ifemade means love will come. Love will come is written by Olufunmilayo Obadofin, one of the panelists. And this book is going to be given out to one person. Another gift we're going to give out to today is Beyond the Khaki. Of course, all of us here are probably Nigerians. And you know, when I say beyond the khaki, you know what that probably means. That is after NYSC. What next? I'm sure students would want to get this book, and it will be definitely beneficial to some of us. And eventually also, there's a journal we have to give out as well, which is a productivity journal. It helps you to plan and strategize and activities and all of that stuff. So we're going to be giving that as well. So I'll announce the winners shortly. Right, just immediately now, before we go into the Kahoot games, we have at the back end, the Kahoot game is getting prepared. I'll explain what Kahoot means and how we're going to play the game. So for the Beyond the Khaki, please put your hands together as I announce that the winner of that is Damilola Ajulo. So Damilola, if you're on this call, congratulations to you. You've just won yourself the book, Beyond the Khaki. I hope you do something beyond the khaki if you've served, or if you haven't served, I hope you can give it to someone who will be very, very valuable too. Then for Ifemade Love Will Come, someone also who has been very active on the call is Lutifa, I hope I pronounced your name very well, Lutifa Badru. Lutifa Badru, congratulations, you're going to get Ifemade Love Will Come. And I hope love comes for you eventually. And then finally, I like to call this person the most active player on the game. The person has been very active on the call. I've been watching her or he or whoever the person is. No, it has to be a lady anyways. The name is Abigail Ibukun. Abigail Ibukun, congratulations. You get 5K in data support. And also, you're going to get the productivity journal. So congratulations, Abigail Ibukun. You've been very active and we would like to see activity. Thank you so much. So everyone that has not been active, this is an opportunity for you to get active. There might be more gifts, and we're going to announce them as time goes on. And of course, somebody else won a gift from Emmanuel earlier on that Save Your Faith Angel, who also communicated to you on how you're going to get the gift. So for those of the winners here today, you're going to receive an email as to how you're going to get your gifts. So thank you, guys. Moving on, we're going to go into the Kahoot game. So Kahoot is actually a game whereby there'll be questions that will pop up on the screen. And when these questions pop, you're going to answer them. And then it's not just about getting the right answer, it's about being fast about it. So after every question, we're going to get a leaderboard. And eventually, at the end of the session, we would see 3 winners emerge. For the first in the Kahoot game, you're going to get 10,000 Naira in data support. Are you ready? Are you ready, guys? I'm sure 10,000 Naira can probably do data for someone's entire month if you're not a great data consumer like I am. And then for the second person in the Kahoot game, you'll be getting 5K in data support. So get ready, get your hands ready, get your minds ready to answer questions. And finally, the third person, because it's always first, second, third, right? The third person is going to be getting 3,000 Naira in data support. So there's a lot of data to go around, right? So get ready as we get the back end ready. So my Kahoot team, are we ready? My Kahoot team, are we ready? Somebody, please tell me, are we ready? Are we ready to push up Kahoot so that the participants are ready, I can assure you. And then after Kahoot, we'll go on to other things. Are we ready with Kahoot? Palumi? Okay, so Palumi is about to take over. So Palumi, I'll yield the floor to you while you coordinate Kahoot. So guys, get ready. Get ready. It's about to get lit. All right? Palumi, can you speak so that we know that you're with us? I think Palumi is trying to share his screen.
Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Palumi, we are yet to see your screen. Okay, yes, your screen is up now. Your screen is up now. So guys, get ready.
All right,
Kahoot is about to move.
Kindly log on to kahoot.it. Let me put that in the chat box.
So guys, log on to kahoot.it, like he has said. And that's how you get to play the game.
Can you log on to kahoot.it?
Of course, they should be able to. So guys, please log on to kahoot.it if you want to win our star prizes. I'm sure you get feedback, Balumi, when people begin to log in, right?
Yes. I'm waiting for the game pin to come on.
Okay. So please log on to kahoot.it while the game pin is coming on. You can see on the screen the game pin is loading. So guys, please log on to kahoot.it and the pin would display shortly. And when the pin displays, Pelumi will tell us other things we need to do.
All right, guys, so the pin is up. Kindly join in with your full names, please.
Join with your full names, guys, so that we are able to identify our
Kindly
winners.
join in with your full names. Your full names. Yes, we have our first contestant. We have 5 people on the call. Right, so I'm expecting at least 20 people in this session. think we're over 30 on the call. Kindly join with your full name. Aziz, can you please edit your info to your full name? Abdul Hafiz, please, we need your full name. Guys, please join in with your full name.
Guys, join with your please. I see Lufiat Badru. I see Aziz. Aziz, change your name. Follow me.
Should I go ahead with 10 participants?
What are we looking to get before we proceed with the game?
We're about 27 on this call.
Okay. So if we
So we can
get
15.
if we get 15, if we get 15, we
Yes.
go on, right? Okay, so we have 3 more to go, guys.
All right. Sulaiman, kindly join in with your full name. Aziz, please, your full name.
Please join with your full name, please. Join with your full name so we can totally identify our winners, all right?
I think we should start now.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead. We don't have so much time.
All right. So remember, it's a game of speed. You select the correct answer in the split of a second. Fastest fingers, correct answer wins. All right. The questions and the answers are going to display on your screen. So you need to select the right one. All right. Let's check the leaderboard. Okay, we have Abigail leading the score. Question number 2. What should you do before making a major career change? All right. 9 persons got the correct answer. Yes, Ajulo is now on point number 2. Question 3. What is the crucial step to building a digital presence? Eleven people got the answer correctly. Let's check to see changes on the leaderboard. Okay, Abigail has a streak with 3 correct answers in a row. We have our top 5 contestants. Question number 4. Okay, 8 people got the answer correctly. And Abigail is still at point number 1. Question number 5. What key quality helps people embrace uncertainty during transitions? Okay, 13 people got it correctly. Temitope is now in the 5th place. Abigail remains at the forefront. Oluwafunmilayo Obadofin combined science with what passion? Right, just 8 people got it correct. So that means only 8 people were listening during the session. Right, the 1st to 3rd place remains unchanged. Let's go to the next question. What is the one common fear when pivoting careers? Right, 10 people got the answer correctly. And Lutifat is now in 4th place. No changes to the 1st to 3rd place. Question number 8. When life doesn't go as planned, what is the best thing to do? All right, everybody got this correctly. You keep learning and adapt.
That's impressive. Ooh, Temitope is now in third place. Well done, well done. Keep it up. This is a true or false question. Okay, just 9 people got it correctly. Are there changes? Oh, Abigail has been displaced from the first place. Well done, guys. All right, just 6 people got this question correct. Korede is now showing his appearance on the leaderboard. Abdulrazak transition from geology to one field. Let's see who was listening. Oh, 13 people got it correctly. That's very nice. That's very nice. Let's check to see changes on the leaderboard. Oh, there are no changes to the leaderboard. This except one are things that the HR looks out for when hiring career switchers. Oh my God, just 2 people got it correctly. Yes, your years of experience does not really matter. And Temitope is now in third place, making a comeback. Well done. Abigail, you can still come forward. All except one was not part of the panelists for today's session. Nobody should miss this question. Nobody should miss this question. Oh yeah, that's very good. Nobody missed it. All right. Abdul is now leading the team with 944 points. Where is the team for the mentorship conference? Nobody should miss this. Oh my God. Just 6 people got it correctly. The flyers have been everywhere in your faces. Throughout the session, it was in your faces. Let's check the leaderboard. Oh, Temitope missed it, and Akorede is back in third place. Well done. What is the current role of one of the panelists who wanted to be a doctor? All right, 11 people got it correctly. Temitope, well done. Abib, you can do better. What quality did all the speakers highlight as essential for reinvention? Nine people got it correctly, and Abdul is still leading the leaderboard. Abigail is now in third place, followed by Ajulo and Akorede. Why is mentorship critical during transitions? Yes, I'm impressed. We all got this question. Oh, there are no changes to the leaderboard.
I think it's time for everyone to give it their all, right? It's almost over.
Yes, you have just 3 questions. Okay, just 3 people got this correctly. Let's check to see changes. Abigail is back in second place. Yes, you are doing very well. But the gap is too wide. But let's see. We have just 2 questions to go. Every purposeful pivot begins with a strong what? Only 8 people got it correctly. Let's see. Oh, there's no changes to the first to 3. Abib, you can still do well. You have about 204 points to go. This is your last question. All right, I'm impressed. Everybody got this correctly. It means that you were really listening and you understand why pivoting is in play. Transitioning is very important. So let's check the leaderboard, guys. So at third place, we have Temitope. Well done. Second place, we have Ibukun Abigail. And the winner for this Scout session is Abdul. Congrats. Well done to you guys.
Congratulations, guys. Abdul gets to walk away with 10K. Ibukun gets to walk away. She's won a lot today, anyways. She gets to walk away with 5K in data support. And finally, Temi Tokbe gets to walk away with 3K in data support. Thank you, Pelumi, for that session. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for staying on the call. It's been so impactful. It's been on since 4 p.m. up until now. We don't waste time we won't take further time. So we just go on straight to the vote of thanks. And remember that we have another session tomorrow by 10 a.m. That's going to span till about 12 thereabout. I'll just welcome someone who's been part of the Mr. B's Educational Foundation, part of the fabric from inception up to date, in person of Khadija Sani. She's my personal person. She's my colleague. She's my friend. I'll call her up right now to give her the vote of thanks as we close the session. Khadija, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Bob Manuel. Good evening, everyone. Wow, what an incredible first day it has been. From our keynote session to the panel discussion, every story shared today has reminded us that growth often begins with the edge of change. And that is never too late to pivot, to evolve, or even to start again. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for showing up for your growth, for your dreams, and for your future. If there's one thing I hope we all take away from today's session, it is that our path doesn't have to be perfect for it to be purposeful. So tomorrow we'll take it even deeper with our team, which is the ripple effect, impact, influence, and inspire. So it's going to be a day of connection, a day of reflection and vision, where we'll discover how the choices we make and the lives we touch can create a wave of positive change around us. So guys, rest, recharge, and come ready to engage even deeper, because tomorrow we'll not just talk about potentials, we are going to be unlocking the potentials together. Until then, keep believing, keep learning, and keep becoming. Good night and see you all tomorrow. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, guys. Before we go, let's just turn on our video for one photo shoot. So we're going to take a quick shot. So everyone, please, just for 1 second, turn on your video. We take one shot and then we call it the wrap. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you for your contributions. And I'm sure we're going to have another impactful session tomorrow. So guys, put on your video just for 1 second while the people at the back end take a screenshot for our publication and what have you. So your video just for 1 second. All right. I'm sure my backend team has this shot. This is a very beautiful shot. Some people are moving. Just smile for the camera. I see some people are even having more people join them. That's great. So, guys, one shot. Backend, are we ready? Xavier, I see your message. You want a gift from Mr. Emmanuel. Yes, we are aware. We're also going to reach out to you. All right. We're going to send you an email, Xavier. So do not worry. We know you want a gift, and there'll be more gifts we want tomorrow. So we'll reach out to you. Don't
Sorry,
worry.
Bob. Tell them they should send an email, please.
Okay,
Because
guys.
we don't know. So please, you send an email.
Okay, you send an email to
Identifying yourself.
send an email identifying yourself to info at mrbeastfoundation.com, right? Info at mrbeastfoundation.org is in the chat box. So please send an email to info at mrbeastfoundation.org. Send an email. Of course, we are very happy to give you your prizes. You just send an email and then we'll verify you and we'll give you your prizes. Thank you guys very much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be here. Same time, not same time anyways, by 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I'll give you the same energy. Catch you guys. My name is Bob Manuel Sepribol. You can call me The Voice by Bob, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.
Mm. Mm. Mhm.